really embarrassing, but don't worry about it. Okay. Oh, I can hear myself. That's not good. Turn that off. Good stuff.
There we go. Back?
Yeah, I hear you.
Oh, okay, sweet. That was weird.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck. I think, like, I got no idea what just happened, but... Ah, shit. Ugh. Like, I think the audio might have died for a second. I got no fucking clue. Oh my god, Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my god, the legend Broly. It is indeed. We just give it a couple minutes just to let people cycle in so we can kick off.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just going to tweet out the message as well.
Mm-hmm. What's up, Zero, Mike? Let's bring up the questions for you just so I have them. God, what is this? It's goddamn fucking long hair. It looks awful. I need to get some clippers or something, just destroy my hair.
Oh, dude, that's what I did a couple of weeks ago, man. Because shit, when the quarantine started, like you can see how short it is now, and this is like it's like I buzzed it like 3 weeks ago, man, and I didn't even buzz it that short. Like, yeah, my hair, I already needed a haircut, and I'm like, man, this quarantine isn't ending anytime soon.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I just pulled the trigger, man.
To be quite honest, like, I'm sort of reveling in the opportunity to... Hold on, I'll turn that off. Reveling in the opportunity to grow my... what little facial hair I've got here and fucking let my hair grow. Basically, I want to see what the post-apocalyptic version of me looks like before I go back to reality. Yeah.
I got you. Yeah, it would have been nice to keep my hair growing. It was funny, dude, like, because I already got a pretty good beard going again.
Yeah.
This is like, because when I buzzed my hair, I shaved my beard. And what's crazy is the beard is growing faster than the hair on the top of my head.
God, I wish that was me. Look at this. This is pathetic. This is...
So wait, where are you? Because I don't see you on a webcam.
Load up the stream. Load up... you'll have to load up the Twitch. There's like no way for you to see me, unfortunately.
I got you, man. I got you.
Yeah, because if I activate my cam on the website that you're on right now, it wouldn't show up on stream, so it's like janky as fuck.
Yeah, I got you, man. Oh shit, I just realized actually how off center I am. There we go. There, perfect. Oh, he's already going, dude.
Yeah. Cheers. Oh, cheers, homie. Yeah, trust the Scottish guy to start early. Fucking, what are you drinking? What is that? Is that like...
this is a Spaten, man. There we go. Spaten!
Is that like a German beer?
I don't think it's German. I think it's, I want to say... Oh, no, it is German. Oh, it's German style. Something tells me it's like Czech Republic or something. Yeah, dude, solid beer, man. I'm a huge fan of European beers. German beers are like top notch. I absolutely love it.
Like German beers for me is like, I remember one time, I can't remember where I was. I wasn't in Germany, but I was somewhere near Germany. I know that. It might have been Italy or something like that, or Spain, but they had like a German beer festival there.
Oh, that would have been sweet, man.
Oh, it was dynamite. And they had like, I don't know what it was called. They just called it like a German red beer. That shit is the tastiest beer I've ever tried in my life. Like, still to this day, nothing compares to that shit. And I cannot find it anywhere, but it was the best, homie. It was the greatest.
No kidding.
Yeah, it
Dude,
was
you
good.
can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. Like German beer is some of my favorites, man. Like I'm not sure if you've ever tried Beck's.
Oh
Beck's is
yeah,
really
yeah,
good.
yeah.
Erdinger's really good, especially if you like lighter, like weedier beers.
Oh, for real, yeah.
Just top notch, man. Top notch.
There's an Austrian beer that I like. I know it's not quite German, but it basically is. Let's be honest, Austria, basically Germany. It's called Stiegel. Oh, it's just,
Yes. Stiegel, right?
Yeah. It's good
Phenomenal.
Oh
beer.
yeah, it's great. I read, Starobremen. I can't say I've ever tried that. Starobremen? No, I've never heard of that.
No, that's new to me, man.
Yeah, fucking Czechs. Okay, I guess we can officially begin then. Officially begin.
I love it, man. I love it. Let's do it.
Pair of alcoholics kicking off with the beer talk.
Dude, after I just finished the craziest day at work, man. It's Friday afternoon. This is the best time to have a beer, brother. Let's go.
After work, phenomenal time for a beer.
Couldn't agree more, man.
What's up, everyone? I'm Millz. Welcome to Run of the Millz. I am joined by a good friend and DMC3 legend, Broly2012. What's up, homie?
Oh, man, I'm just chilling, man. I'm really excited to be here, and thank you for having me on the show, man. I've been a huge fan of the podcast since you started, man, so this is awesome for me. But I do have to admit, there's only one legend that's online right now, and it definitely is not me, sir. Your reputation precedes you, and you've done a lot of amazing things for the DMC community, so I'm really happy to be here, man.
That's caught me off guard. I don't know where to go. God damn it. You beat me in the compliment off. That's the powers in your direction. Thanks, homie. I appreciate it.
Of course, man. At least I can do. Thank you for everything you do.
God, I was not expecting. He's just saying that. Listen, Broly would never do that. Okay, he's a good man. Okay, so let's kick right into it. How you been? How's life been since quarantine's kicked in? Which obviously has been a bit of a kind of upended everyone's life. How you been dealing with that shit?
I've been doing okay, man. Thanks for asking. For me, I'm in a very, very, very fortunate spot that I'm able to do my job completely remotely from home. So for me, not a lot has changed. Like I'm still doing my normal 9 to 5 job. So really the biggest thing is just not being able to go out on the weekends, man. So I was thinking about it because I live alone. And you can't travel and see friends or family or anything. I have not been in the same room with someone, outside of buying groceries and shit out in public. I've not been in the same room with someone since the quarantine started. So that's 7-8 weeks now.
God damn, that's a lot. Yeah, but that's just the nature of it, isn't it? You just have to seclude yourself.
That's it, man. You got to be safe. Got to be smart.
I don't know if it's this has to be a thing, but I don't know about you, but I see so many people just not caring or giving a shit about it. You see them outside, or you see them I don't know, on whatever social medias or whatever, and there's just complete obliviousness and disregard for others. That shit's
terrible.
Yeah, is it bad where you are as well?
It's not that bad. I'm fortunate. I live in Toronto, which is a pretty big city. 3 million people close to it. But I'm not in the downtown core. I'm a bit to the outskirts. So even when I go outside and stuff, I go out for walks and stuff here and there, it's not so bad. But you can tell the people who don't take it seriously. Yeah, they'll walk right up beside you. No fucks given. On the sidewalk, and you see people congregating, or you hear about stuff especially over Easter. You saw a lot of people who were going, to visit family or friends or whatever. There's a house with 8 cars in the driveway outside, and it's they're doing a great job quarantining. Fantastic.
It's infuriating because the quicker that everyone complies, the quicker this shit ends. And then you see people doing that, and it's fuck's sakes, it's just people like you that's dragging this shit on. I want to get back outside,
Exactly.
Well, actually, I don't that much. Well, to be honest, not that much, but I want the choice to go outside, okay, please?
Exactly. No, it's really funny, man, because I'm not sure if you're like this too, but with introverts, a lot of the times we prefer that solo time anyway, so we're going to stay inside and play video games, watch movies, or read or whatever. So it's just regularly scheduled programming, man.
Yeah. See, like for me, like I was sort of extroverted until like very recently. And I started getting I started getting like anxiety like breakouts and stuff, and became really introverted. And funnily enough, now with like this quarantine kicking off, like I really want to go back out, just fucking hit the town, get absolutely blitzed, and I can't. So maybe it'll do some good. Maybe it'll actually take me back to my party animal days. I hope so. I say that, but like I really could not handle that shit anymore. Like one night in the town would break me.
Jeez. Well, I mean, so long as you're going slow, right? Don't push it too hard. I feel like it's going to be a huge adjustment, man. We're all going to have to ease back into it.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It's like, it was like at the snap of a finger, man. It's like quarantine started, everyone stay inside now. And I feel like, I don't think the transition back will be like that. I don't think one day they're just going to be like, okay, everything's open for business, go, everyone just run.
Yeah, no.
So I don't think it's going to be like that. But at the same time, like the first time you go out and like, visit your friends, or you go to see your bros for like a night out, like it's going to be a shock.
Oh yeah, 100%. I think like I saw something about the UK wanting to ease back into it, but yeah, like you say, like snapping back into it approach, that doesn't seem like the best way to do it. It seems like it would be a good way to cause absolute chaos, everyone going out at the same time. Imagine that.
Yeah, exactly. I think I don't know how they're going to do it in the public perspective. Like I know at my work they're talking about a back to work plan or a back to the office plan, and it's going to be staggered. They're not just going to open up the doors, because there's about 1,000 people that work in my office, so they're not just going to be like, okay, everyone back all at once. I think they're going to bring like a certain amount of people from each department, so that people can still maintain distancing. Because it's going to be crazy, like especially when you have public transit and things like that.
Yeah.
Coming back, because I'm not sure if it's still the same in the UK, but here in Toronto we still have our streetcars and subways and stuff like that running. But there's like 2 or 3 people on it at a time, and they're a good like 10 feet apart. But what's going to happen when you're back to rush hour, when there's like 40 or 50 people or 100 people on at a time?
Yeah, it just seems like a good way to like I guess like cause like a new wave of breakout. Like yeah, it feels like, I don't know for you, but does it feel like it's not really began yet in a sort of way? Like it's still not really gotten as bad as it can be? Like I get that feeling.
Yeah, actually, I totally agree with that. I was watching a video. There's a doctor that we have here in Canada that makes daily YouTube videos, and he's tracking like the reporting and the numbers and everything. And one of the things he says, he's like, it's not the beginning of the end, but it's possibly the end of the beginning, if that makes sense.
Wow, that's kind of terrifying.
Right? Like, and it makes a lot of sense actually what he was saying. So there was a report that was published by a team of doctors in the UK, which caught my attention a couple weeks back. And basically what they're saying is you're going to see peaks and valleys in terms of infection rates. So we had the virus broke out and there was an outbreak, and then you essentially saw a lot of people get infected. So we isolated, and then you saw the number of infection rates coming down. But then what they're going to happen is they're going to come out of quarantine, and then people are going to start getting exposed again, and you're going to see that those levels of exposure and those infection rates going back up again. And then we're just going to self quarantine again. So I think we're going to go through phases over the next like year or two, maybe more, of just phases of quarantine, phases of where we're back to a little bit of normalcy, and then just back and forth, rinse and repeat.
That shit's ridiculous. 2020 it's like Mick just said in the chat, 2020 is a write-off. It's like done already.
It literally is. In terms of in terms of like traveling, if you had any kind of major plans, like schools, like man, if you're in the middle of a degree or something like that right now, like jeez. Like
I'm glad it happened towards the end. If this had happened 6 months ago, that would have been the biggest pain in the ass ever. But
yep. Yeah, your year's gone.
Yeah. On the other hand, I don't get to see my girlfriend anymore for another 4 months, so it's China's just a major cock block. Yeah.
It's not so great for the single bachelor life. So I hear you there, man.
Yeah, it throws a real spanner in the works for that shit. Yeah.
A little bit of a in the gears, no big deal.
What about like the gym? You still been finding a way to work out? I think there's going to be like a vacuum in the background in a second. I'm sorry, I apologise if there is.
Yeah.
Goddamn Hooverson. It's 10:30 at night.
Yeah, seriously, what's going on?
Fuck it. I'm going to put in a noise complaint. Even though I live here, noise complaint.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just a noise complaint to the landlord. Just
Yeah.
A little bit of an unacceptable, at this time of night.
Be a complete snitch. Yeah. You still been working out? You've been finding a way to, because I know you're a bit of a, you stick in at the gym. So have you been finding a way? Sorry, there's a whole bunch of chaos going on back there. Don't worry about that. Yeah.
All good, man. All good. Been trying to stay active, man. At the very least, I try and make sure that I'm, getting out for walks, and I'm being safe. I'm going out with a mask and maintaining like the 6 feet distance and things like that. But trying to stretch my legs every chance I get. I try and get out at least once a day, to be honest, because man, I live in a condo. Like, this is a 600 square foot condo. If I don't get out like at least once a day, I'm literally going to go crazy.
Cabin fever.
Oh yeah, 1,000%. But yeah, so I do have some equipment, not a lot, but I do have some. So I'm able to kind of do some exercises. I've been doing a lot of push-ups and stuff like that, and then just getting outside, go for a run to get the cardio in and stuff like that.
Yeah. It's the cardio
Definitely miss
side.
the gym though.
Oh, the gym, like honestly, working out at home. Like, I only started again yesterday. I was being a fat shit up until then, but like. Working out from home is just so... I hate it. It's just... You just don't do as much as you could in the gym. You don't have the equipment.
Yep. Think about like that extra motivation when you see everyone just working hard around you at the gym. Like, you have that extra push. There's so many times where it's like you don't even want to work out, but like you go to the gym and you're like, oh fuck it, like I'll just go for 20 minutes. And then you end up having like the best workout of like the whole week. That doesn't happen when you're at home.
You planned drinking Corona on stream? Yeah, I said that to Derek before we went live. It's like, yeah, good choice for me. Sponsor. No, not quite. What was I going to say? Yeah, so just on a side note, because you mentioned Toronto, I actually went there when I was young. I think like 2006, 2007. Toronto was awesome. The best, homie. It's like, honestly, one of the best places I've ever been. The shit was great. But I think like... Okay, so I've got a funny story to tell, but also, like, I'm pretty sure at one point there was a heat wave, and that shit knocked me on my ass, homie. I did not know Canada could be that goddamn warm. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah, dude, like, our humidity, like, it's not so much the heat that kills you. Like, if you take out the humidity, we don't get much hotter than about, 30, 35 degrees tops, right? But when you factor in the humidity, we can hit temperatures of, like, 45. And that's just like a regular day, and it's like you walk outside and that humidity just hits you like a ton of bricks. Man.
And you imagine like someone from Scotland who's used to like the rain and freezing temperatures comes up in there. That was ridiculous how warm that is. But Canada was great. I want to go back, to be honest. One day, one day I'll make it happen. What was I gonna say? Yeah, so like when I went there when I was a little man. I was a wee lad, and I remember I went into a game store, like in the downtown area. Ape Escape 2 was there. I was like, oh my god, I loved Ape Escape 1. Ape Escape 2, baby, let's do it. Buy the game, obviously, enjoy the holiday, get home.
I know where you're going.
Young Millz loads up his PlayStation 2. Region locked. That shit was Canada. I'll never forgive Canada for that shit. Region locked, homie.
No, wait, is that because like the UK is on the PAL standard and you don't have the NTSC format?
Yeah, it would have been, yeah. But obviously, me as a baby, like, I had no idea. Shit was heartbreaking. I was like, oh, why is the game not working? I hate Canada. Canada games suck.
It wasn't our fault, man. Forgive us.
Oh, definitely put that in the bucket list to go back there.
Yeah, actually, I've never been to Europe either, man, and that was my next big trip. I was hoping to actually get out there in the next year or two. And you're in Scotland, right?
Yep.
Yes, and Scotland and Ireland are both on my mix, man. I want to do like the UK, Scotland, Ireland. I want to do like France, Spain, Italy. Like I'll probably take 2 weeks and just hit as many countries as I can.
Don't forget Germany. Get the good beer action, homie. Yeah.
Yes. I feel like the entire Eastern Bloc would have to be like a different trip, man. Like I'd want to do Germany, Poland, Switzerland. Yeah.
I saw a thing that looked good. It was sorry, pardon me. That's the beers gassing me up.
Same thing.
Yeah. I think it was a Baltic Sea cruise, and it leaves from Germany, goes to like all the Eastern Bloc countries. I'm pretty sure it stops in Russia at some point. It looked pretty fucking dope, but I imagine you have to be like loaded, like as a rich person cruise. So I don't know, like, but yeah, that looked pretty sick.
That would be fantastic. Yeah, I just saw Valtarax in the chat saying, or hopefully, is it Valtarax? Valtarax. Saying come to Croatia. Yeah, Croatia's on the list as well, man.
Croatia.
1,000%.
I've been to Italy. Go there. That's honestly like the pizza there. I know it's obviously because it was made there, but like the pizza there is different game, homie. That shit is incredible.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can only imagine. I would think all the food, like, you know, you gotta hit certain tropes, man. You gotta get you gotta go to a cafe, like a proper French cafe, have a proper French croissant. Hit up some Nando's in England.
In Scotland, get like a frying pan, put a Mars bar in it, you'll be good to go. Yeah.
There you go. Oh, dude, I'm just gonna hit up all the bars, man. I'm gonna dial you up, man, and just be like, "What's the closest bar? I'm going there. I'll see you there."
Fuck, imagine that. Okay, so enough about the boring real life stuff. Let's get into the real grit, the real gamer gear.
Let's do it. Yeah. Let's go for Gamer Grill. Let's do it.
Obviously, we have to like start off with DMC3. Like that is where we had that has got to be the starting point for us.
That's it, man.
So I guess like tell us a little bit about, you know, the humble beginnings of Broly2012. Like how did it all start? Where was the what ignited the flame?
Yeah, okay, so like I played so just before we get to DMC3, I need to give you a little bit of a backstory, right? So like my first entrance into the franchise was DMC2. So it was not a good start. Not a good start. You know, and this is back in the day, like I think I got DMC2 when I was in like my early teens, right? So this is back when I'm like 12, 13, you know, you save up for like 3 or 4 months to buy like an $80 video game. Like this is all the money you have in your bank. And of course I dump it on DMC2 because I'm like, yo, like the trailer looks sick. This looks awesome. It's the sequel. The sequel's got to be better, right? And it's like, wrong. And like I had played other games like Ninja Gaiden and stuff like that. So played a lot of action games. So DMC3 came out and I actually rented it. So I rented the game on PS2 from like, you know, local video shop. Throw it in. And like I start going in. I'm like, there's no dodge button. Like I'm used to Ninja Gaiden when there's like you have a roll button. I'm like, this game is already off to a bad start, man. Like what's going on? And then I hit Cerberus. And I gave up, man. I was like, fuck this shit, man. I got so frustrated. I didn't know what I was doing. I was like, this is stupid. And I was also used to DMC2. DMC2 had the dodge button too, right? Right? Yeah. And so I was like, dude, I'm out, man. And like, I only had like by the time you fight Cerberus, you only have Rebellion. You only have Ebby and Ivory, and you only have the shotgun. Yeah. And this is also with like the mix up with the difficulties as well, right? So this is our normal difficulty was the Japanese. Oh, excuse me. The Japanese. Our normal was their hard version, right? So that just made it even much harder. So I was like, no, dude, this game sucks. It's not for me. I'm gonna go back to Halo or some shit.
Good choice.
And then I just dropped it. But I think it was like a month later. I was at my buddy's place, and like this was like my Halo buddy, right? So I went over, like there was like a bunch of us over. We're gonna play Halo, and I was talking to him, and he's like, oh, he was rocking DMC3, and I'm like, oh man, like I tried it, I didn't really like it, and he was like, how far did you get? And I was like, oh, you know, like I couldn't even beat like the stupid ice dog or whatever. And he's like, oh, dude, like, he's like, play my version. And so he had beaten the game, and he was on Dante Must Die, and he'd gotten stuck because of like the devil triggers and stuff, right? So I still remember, man, I played Mission 2 with, I can't remember what the other weapon was, but it was like Agni and Rudra with sword, like level 3 sword master, and like a bunch of like the other weapons. And I remember the first time doing a crazy combo with Agni and Rudra, where he's slashing both swords, and then I was like doing the twister. I was doing like the other sword master moves, like I was doing like twister and like all that, and like my mind was just absolutely fucking blowing. I'm like, this is the coolest freaking shit I've ever seen. Like, this game is amazing. I was so wrong. And it was like the next day I bought it. And I'm like, I don't care how long it takes me. I am going to unlock everything. I'm going to play the shit out of this. And then it just kind of like took off from there. And yeah, so that was the very humble beginnings. I actually originally gave up on it, but then thankfully for my buddy, man, if it wasn't for my buddy, like, unless I saw some crazy video of it years later, it might have been a completely different story, man.
That is crazy, yeah. I mean, see, to be fair to past Broly, like, Cerberus is fucking tough. He is no joke. Like, he still kicks my ass.
Right? Oh, yeah. Dude, yeah. He's still a pain in the ass.
Oh, yeah. Like, Cerberus on DMD is just nightmare material. Like, like you go to sleep paralysis demon. It's not a demon. It's DMD Cerberus staring into your soul, homie. Like, he is tough.
I know, man. With all 6 of his demon eyes just glaring into you, man, he sees right through you.
I used to cheese him with ebony and ivory until I learned. I mean, yeah.
Oh, well, you try and do that, man, but then he has that lunge move, and like back in the day when I had 0 reactions, like it was just, you didn't even know what to react because like it was fast. Like even back then, like for an action game, it's incredibly fast. And this is before turbo mode and everything.
Yeah, I feel like as well, like a lot of his moves are very hard to predict. There's not a lot of telegraphing in his moves, so it can be.
He just comes at you.
He just comes at you with no warning, and yeah, I mean he's really tough. So how did that? What was the process then, or rather the process between like you getting into the game and then making videos? Like what happened there? What was the story behind that?
There was a bit of a development period. So part of it was the special edition coming out. So it was about 3 months after I got the game. I basically worked my way through to Dante Must Die, but I wasn't finished. I remember. Oh, Jesus, maybe drinking a beer was a bad idea. My God.
Tell me about it.
I didn't even get a sentence out. Maybe we should switch to something a little harder, man. Bust out the Peaky Blinders styling.
Oh, yeah.
Bust out some of the Irish whiskey or something.
I've got a whole bunch of whiskeys up there. Just take your pick, homie.
Oh, I'm sure, man. I'm sure. Yeah. I think I'm slacking a little bit, but I think I got some stuff there. But in any case, okay. So yeah, I was stuck on Beowulf Dante Must Die when the special edition was announced. So special edition drops. I think I bought it day one, man, because for me it was Virgil.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw that you could play Virgil, man, I lost my shit.
Yeah,
I was like, I am so excited, man. But one of the big, so that was part of it. That was coming out. But like one of the main things that really motivated me to not only learn more about the game. Well, actually, wait, hold on. I think I'm misremembering. So as I was like, learning and starting to practice and get better at the game, naturally, if you really like a game, even back then, because YouTube, this is back when YouTube was still in its infancy, right? Like there was a couple other platforms at the time, and YouTube still hadn't come out on top yet. So there wasn't really a lot of people like making videos or tutorials or anything like that. There was nothing like that. So I go searching on the internet for tips on how to play this game better, and I came across a forum, and it was actually a forum of players in the UK. I checked. I'm pretty sure the forum is actually shut down now. The site's gone, but it was called NTSC UK. And there was a bunch of players on there. And one of them, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the player Sorry and Dash. He was a really prominent like player and purveyor of this like really advanced tactics and stuff like that for all types of action games, whether it was like Devil May Cry. He was also really heavily into like God Hand when that came out, and he was really active. Yeah, a couple people in the chat are familiar with him. Shy Guy, Set Narrow is familiar with him. So
wasn't he supposed to do something? Sorry, wasn't he supposed to do something recently, or wasn't he involved? I think didn't Capcom UK like do something? I don't know. I might be misremembering. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, of course. So, like, I know that he was involved in. He actually, I think, worked on the Bayonetta guide. Hopefully, I'm not like violating anything by sharing that information. I think it's pretty public knowledge.
Yeah.
But yeah, he actually worked on the Bayonetta guide before it came out, and like, he actually, I think, has an entire platinum run on the hardest difficulty of Bayonetta. Like, he mastered that game. So yeah, he wrote the entire Bayonetta guide. I think he played a lot of like, yeah, he has a lot of YouTube guides and stuff like that for the Wonderful 101. Him and I actually coordinated on a project for Transformers, so we actually kind of put together our own little like guide for that game as well. So
sick.
He's been in this scene. He's gone quiet lately, but yeah, DK is saying he did the Transformers Devastation one. So yeah, he was really active in the community, and probably most notably, one of the coolest things that he ever did is with God Hand. When God Hand first came out, I'm getting a little bit off topic, but this is a really cool story. When God Hand first came out, IGN gave it like a 3 out of 10.
Yeah.
They looked at the graphics and they're like, this game is shit. And so he actually made a game, and the title of it was a God Hand review, a response to the IGN review or something like that. And all he was doing was showcasing some of the stuff that you could do in that game, even with like the basic moveset you have at the beginning, without any of the cool stuff that you get unlocked. And that's kind of what put him on my radar. And I just remember I actually reached out to him, and we kind of became like pen pals. And so he was a big motivator for me. The site where I found him also had like a bunch of guides on some of the more advanced tactics. So they had put stuff like jump canceling, frame canceling with like Royal Guard, gun canceling, style switch canceling, and things like that. So if you do a style move with one weapon, switch weapons, do a different style move, you can cancel some of the animation frames and recovery. So that kind of really started to expand my horizons. But then the biggest thing, which completely blew my mind, and I think it's the very first combo video. It was the first one that I ever saw, and I think it was the very first DMC3 combo video. It was the one that was done by Prince of Devil, I think he was called. And it was the one that was done with Thunder Force. Holy Thunder Force. And I'm not sure if that rings a bell. Maybe it's maybe some people in chat would remember. It might be before your time. Yeah, Sloth Time, Mecha Mike. And Valtarax, remember. So I remember that came out, and that just blew my mind, because I had never seen a combo video for an action game or fighting game. Sloth is dead. Yes, Hell Sloth is dead, or equals dead, or something like that was the name. And that was the original combo video that I saw. And that's, as soon as I saw that, I'm like, I don't care how long it takes. I want to get as good as that guy. So that I can make combo videos like that. And that's what kind of like kicked off the whole journey.
That's fucking crazy. Yeah. No, I don't think I've seen that one, to be honest. I'll probably have to go back and have a peek.
I mean, it was done like pre-turbo.
Yeah, like a lot of the old stuff I'm not too up to speed on. I know quite a lot of people in chat are like DK and whatever, like they know all that stuff, but like a lot of the old stuff, like I just never saw. Obviously, because there's a lot of new stuff now, and there's a lot of stuff that pops up in my recommended, and probably because of algorithms and stuff, I don't see like any of the old stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure it's buried, man. Because I mean, this stuff is kind of like my original content, man. Like if it is on YouTube, it was either added after the fact, or it was added like so long ago that like so much of the UI in YouTube has changed. Like even in terms of how you search for videos.
Yeah, did you do the jump cancel tutorial first, or did you do the combo video? Archangels of War? It was
the tutorial, I'm pretty sure, was first.
That was first,
I'm pretty sure my combo videos didn't come until much later. Yeah, I'm because I think the first videos that I started uploading were the boss runs. So I started doing like Dante Must Die boss strategies for Virgil, and that's kind of what kicked off like my YouTube channel.
Right.
Was just like, breaking down the boss fight, doing the entire fight with taking no damage and things like that. And then it was the jump canceling tutorial, and then I think the combo videos came later.
So what was the sort of mindset behind like creating the sort of tutorial-esque videos? You just wanted to pass on what you'd been learning to a wider audience type mindset?
Yeah, like it really, there really wasn't anything more behind it. Like it was, I was in my early 20s at the time, and like I had experimented and I had fooled around with like some video editing before. So like I was making like animated music videos for like Dragon Ball and stuff like that, right? So it was kind of like transitioning into like actually capturing footage from a game that I was playing, and doing that for the first time. Because man, even that, looking back now. Okay, so get this. So I'm on my PS2, right? In order to actually capture the footage, I would literally run my PS2 into an audio video receiver, like a stereo receiver that just happened to have audio and video out. And I would run composite cables like the yellow, red, and white to a handheld camcorder, and it would output at the same time to my TV. So I literally had like this small little ghetto ass camcorder that recorded on little physical cassette tapes, and then I would upload it to my computer through a capture card using a Firewire right from the camcorder. Like it is so ghetto I guess it was ghetto at the time. Like it was pretty advanced at the time. Like I learned how to do that from like film school. Like the fact that or a film class that I had in high school, I learned how to do that. But like when you actually think about it, like it's so much easier to do now. Like Jesus, I can literally, play the game on my computer and I push a button and I'm recording. Like, so the transition between, making those videos when I first started out and the technical challenges that actually recording video, whether it was like with a VCR or a DVR or something like that, to like now and being able to have like, you just buy an Elgato for like $200 and, problem solved. You're good to go. If you have a USB port on any computer, you're good to go. So it's amazing the leaps and bounds that the technology has made and how much more convenient it is. But man, back then it was like, just the fact that I had this capacity to do this was really fortunate.
It's so sick hearing about like the old school ways of doing things. Like I love that shit. That's cool. Yeah.
And it's crazy, man, because like this is like this is like 2007, 2008, so it's not even that long ago.
Sorry, there was a Twitch notification. Like, there's no way for me. Sorry to go off topic for a second, but there's like no way for me to change that without changing it like every time I stream. So apologies that comes up. That's my bad. No. Yeah.
All good, man.
But yeah, like the old school ways of doing things, like it's kind of similar for music for me, is to like find out how they used to do things 10, 20 years ago compared to now. Like it's the same deal with that, hearing about like how things used to be done is so sick. Like I don't know why it's cool, it's just fucking cool. And to hear about that for DMC is really sick, to be honest. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool, man.
Yeah.
No, it's really cool because like, you definitely, had limitations going back, even when I was growing up, like the fact that, I used to grow up watching VCRs, watching like VHS tapes and things like that. But one of the advantages with VHS tapes is that they were so easy to record as opposed to like DVDs. You could literally throw in, I remember my uncle when I was a kid he had the biggest movie collection I had ever seen. So every time we would go, I'd literally bring a bunch of blank VHS tapes and like I would just record a bunch of movies. And you get it all set up, you get two VCRs together and you're ready to go, man. So yeah, there was always, when there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah, I can vaguely remember like using VHS tapes to like record old war films and stuff. Good times, the kids won't have those memories now. You've got your iPods and your Xboxes and all. Yeah, damn kids and your technologies.
I think the biggest gripe, or the biggest thing, when I was in high school is if you had an MP3 DVD player. Or no, I don't even think, no, they didn't even have, it was like a CD player that could play MP3s that had the anti-skip function. Because the anti-skip function was like an extra like $100 or something like that. Right? Or like even like good old cassette Walkmans, man.
Yeah, old Walkmans, yeah.
Dude, like even cassette tapes, man, like that technology blows me away that you can literally take tape and effectively put audio onto it. Like digital files make sense, you know, like compressing, you know, audio or video into a digital file and playing it, that to me makes sense. But the fact that you can translate it to a physical medium, that to me boggles my freaking mind, man.
Yeah, that is crazy when you put it like that. Like how they put it on a tape and you can watch it back. Like, that's crazy. Or you can listen to it. Yeah, I mean, that's actually, yeah, that's a good point. Like, wow. And it's the same with a CD, you know, you look at a CD and it's just a bunch, or a vinyl, you know, it's just a bunch of grooves and somehow that can play music. Like, wow.
Yeah. Like, how does this shit, like, vinyl blows my mind. And you turn it over and then it's something completely different. And it's like, how does this work?
The old technology was so much cooler. Like, obviously,
it's pretty cool.
New tech is convenient, but the old school is just, you know, cool factor is 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree more, man.
So you also did some, I think you've done 2 combo videos for DMC3. You done Archangels of War? Archangels, and then Chronicles of Dante. Yeah, so you done 2, which honestly, like, I was watching them back recently once I knew I was getting you on, and they still, you know, hold up, and it's really cool to see, like you were putting some things in, I think it was Archangels, where it's just you as Virgil rapid slashing, like, while like the other Virgil puts his hand up to block it, but you're doing it so that it hits and he doesn't block it. So basically you're like, I don't know, you're just doing some cool things, and it's really cool to see, like, because you know, if you put that in a combo mat or a combo video now, you know, people would be like, okay, well, it's no big deal. But it's cool to think that back then, like, seeing someone do that would have been like, whoa, shit, that's crazy, like, wow, what the fuck. It's just cool to see the progress of the game, or the sort of, like, natural lifespan of the game, like how it used to be, is really sick.
There's absolutely an evolution, and like even going back to looking at some of the combo videos that were made at the time, because a lot of the big players that made like a lot of the combo videos that you see now, like a couple of the names that just kind of jumped to the top of my head, like Tat Samurai Black, Kale to a certain respect, because you know he spit out a lot of content. And, like, I don't want to get into too much detail, but, I mean, if nothing else, the man was a workhorse, man. Like, I think he must have put up, like 50 to 100 hours of DMC combo videos, right? So, like, wow. Even him, there was a lot of newcomers that were coming to the scene, and they all had kind of, like, their own take on it. Brea was obviously there. It was funny because all of us just happened to be on the same forum. All of us were on the IGN Devil May Cry forum, and that's kind of was like the hub of DMC content. That's where all of us would come and like share all our content. We would talk strats. I remember there was another player, Marty86 or Marty something. There was Pokey86, and he was like the godfather of strategy. So this guy wasn't like, he didn't really make a lot of like combo videos or anything like that, but he was the guy that pioneered like a lot of the original tech, which is insane. And like watching this guy play, he had such an amazing, you know, understanding of the underlying mechanics of the game, right? But yeah, there was a guy, Marty, and I remember one of the cool things like him and I did is like we actually mapped out how the style meter worked. So like, you know, if you go in, you know, you're trying to get like 6,000 style points, like how do you actually do that? You know, if you slash an enemy when you're at when you have no style meter, like your style meter is empty, you know, what does that look like versus if you're at like a double or triple S? We actually found a way to map out all of that, which was really cool. So like there was a lot of stuff happening on that, and it was almost like everyone would go there and they would post all their content, including combo videos. And so someone would post their combo video, and at the time what people would do is it wasn't just pure combos. They would try and when, especially with the music that they used, when the music, you know, if the music's blasting and it's really pumping and it's going, it's like, okay, this is where you have your combos. But if there's ever a spot where the music starts to get a little bit slower, you know, your combos won't necessarily fit as well. So they looked for other ways or other types of content to fill that with. And so they would insert like, you know, new types of boss strats, or they would insert, you know, just like new ideas and stuff like that they were testing out. Or it's like, I did something cool, I'm going to put it in this kind of like this intermediary section between the combos. And it's kind of like, yeah, it was kind of like peppering in those little moments.
That's fucking sick. Do you miss that?
No, actually it's funny because I forget who it was I was talking to. I think it was Cosmic. We were talking during one of his streams and he was just like, yeah, like you weren't really well known for your combo videos. I think you only made like 1 or 2. And I was like, yeah, 2. And like I was thinking about it, I was like, you know what, like, yeah, I pretty much hit my limit after 2. Like after I put out Chronicles of Dante, like I was pretty much done. I basically like hit my limits. And I realized exactly where my limits were. One of them was like DT combos. Because like at the time, like Brea was just like forging ahead, like establishing herself as one of the top DMC3 players, like just doing shit that no one had ever thought of before. And one of them, I think she was the first one to innovate and like start introducing DT enemy or combos on DT enemies or enemies that had devil triggered. So like that was like completely new, and like that was something that was forged from the ground up because doing something like, you know, going into a combo and like doing like an air juggle and then using Helm Breaker and then devil triggering so that the enemy doesn't like fall and hit the ground, like something like that was completely like brand new. No one had ever seen anything like that before, but it required you to completely relearn the game in a certain sense, because that's not stuff that you do. Normally it's like you play the game, you juggle an enemy, you know, but if they DT, then it's like, okay, you knock them down and then you nuke them with like real impact or something like that, or use a DT explosion to kill them. But like Brea really challenged the status quo, and she's like, no, like we can actually juggle these guys. It just requires a little bit of a retweak to the skill set. So at the time, I was like, nope.
I mean, yeah, I don't blame you. The whole DT stuff is like way beyond me as well. Like that shit's crazy. It is like Valley, you say, you know, it's like a whole different way to play the game, and like the people who can do it, it's unbelievable. It's ridiculous how like much skill it takes.
Absolutely. Like even going back and, you know, because I completely walked away from the scene, so I had no idea what was kind of happening with Devil May Cry 4. You know, I had seen some of Donguri's, you know, videos and stuff like that. Like, as you know, YouTube will spit out those because they get so many views. Yeah. So like his like Boss Rush videos where I saw him like guard flying and stuff like that. So I had seen techniques like that in the interim between DMC3 and DMC5. But like I had completely missed what was happening with like the evolution of DMC3 when it came to like, you know, the style switch mod, the weapon switch mod, players like DK coming into his own. You know, you go and you watch DK playing Mission 6, you know, with Dante or Virgil, and like the way that, you know, they incorporated, like the game evolved to incorporate things like platform combos and stuff like that. Like that shit was unheard of back in my day, right? So it's really cool to kind of see like, you know, where it kind of began with the humble beginnings, and then to see, you know, what it's evolved into, and even to see some of the stuff that some of the players can do on DMC4 and even with 5, modded 5, is pretty exciting. It's really, really cool.
So there was no interest for you to get back into DMC with DMC4? Like you didn't, like what was the deal with that? Because I didn't see any DMC4 content on the channel, so there was none. So you just went like a little burned out from free, I guess, or what was the deal with that?
Yeah, I definitely think burnout was a big thing. I'm trying to think back. Like it was DMC3 and like the YouTube stuff. Like I had no idea that YouTube was gonna blow up the way it did. And in hindsight, it would have been interesting if I had actually continued like working and developing the channel and without taking a break, because I effectively like I uploaded like my last video and then like I basically dropped off the map, and I think there's like at least a 9-year gap between like my last video was probably a God Hand video to like when I started uploading again. Like I think I uploaded like a Transformers Devastation video or something like that. So I think burnout was definitely a thing. It was like I think it was also like I wanted to do other things with my time, like taking between like the practice, between like combos, between mastering all the bosses and things like that. I really didn't see much benefit in really continuing. I had mastered my own process of like recording the videos. I'd gotten that part down to a science, so it was kind of just like, I've really gotten as far as I can with this, and it's time for something new. But in terms of, so that was like more so of like the video aspect. But in terms of like DMC4, so I played DMC4 when it first came out, and
You didn't like that shit?
It is no secret. It is no secret that I did not like that game at all. Part of it was it didn't even feel like a DMC game to me. It was so weird because I could at that point I could almost play DMC3 blindfolded, and I was really really hyped for DMC4. When the trailers and everything first started coming, and when I saw the graphics and I saw what the game was, even when I saw like Nero, I'm like, man, this is awesome. I'm so excited. And then when it finally came to play it, I think I rented the game again. I didn't buy it, so it came time to play it. And I was like, okay, let's dive into this. I'm so excited. And you start the game with Nero, and I'm like, okay, starting with Nero. Where's Dante? Why is this happening? And he starts off with only the Red Queen and Blue Rose, right? One gun, one sword. And I'm like, okay, I can't wait to see what kinds of crazy weapons and abilities and new weapons that this guy unlocks, and whether or not he unlocks any new styles or anything like that. Then you beat his 10 levels, his half of the game, and you don't get anything. No. And I'm like, excuse me, not me, what's going on here? And then, of course, the whole thing with, okay, then you get Dante, and you more or less have to do everything all over again. You have to fight the same bosses. You have to play the same levels, but just backwards. I definitely felt, really let down, and it didn't appeal to me. I didn't really even like the weapons. Rebellion and Beowulf made sense, but the fact that you didn't have the ability, I did like the fact that you could do style switching, but at that point no one knew how to incorporate style switching in your combos, so you would more or less just end up playing on one style.
Right. Yeah.
They hadn't found the synergies between the styles yet, and just I don't know, playing Dante, it was okay, this is kind of cool. I don't even know what it's called. What's the weapon where he chucks the spikes?
Lucifer.
Yeah, I looked at Lucifer and I'm like, what the hell is this? I have no idea what the hell this weapon is doing. I love the ability for there to be 5 or 6 weapons, and you can choose your loadout of 3 weapons. So I definitely felt like it was a letdown. And it really just didn't appeal to me. I beat the game once, and I was like, yeah, I don't think I'll keep playing it.
It is understandable. It's like DK said, I enjoyed DMC4 so much just because there was so much to learn. But if I had been there day one, it probably would have been the same, because surface level, Lucifer, you don't know what the fuck to do with it.
Yeah, it's weird.
You don't know how to utilize things like inertia and stuff that you know about now. It's understandable, and obviously the game was sort of half finished and not very great or whatever, story wise. So yeah, it's understandable.
Yeah, in hindsight, actually, it's really funny. I actually had a dream the other night. It was 2 or 3 days ago that I was actually learning Devil May Cry 4. And I was going as hard on it as I am on DMC3 right now with the style switcher, which was hilarious. Because I do see it, I do watch it. I'll watch DK when he streams. I've seen your videos, and I think I've watched your DMC4 streams. I've seen Dark Harmonizer.
Yeah.
I've seen him play it, and from where it started to where it's begun, it's become a long way. It does have its flaws. Yeah, DK, and I hate Nero as a main character, dude. DK, I can't even describe how much. I can't even put it in words.
Hold on, Derek. There's an audio issue. Apparently, the chat's saying they can't hear you.
Oh,
is that good? Is that fixed?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Is that good? Okay, that's good. Okay, yeah, we're good.
Oh,
Also, thanks to Sky for subscribing, and thanks to Mecha for the host. Okay, sorry, go on. Without further ado. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, no problem. No, like, that was the other thing, too, is I didn't like Nero as a character. I didn't like his play style. Like, I understand why they did it. You know, like, developers, studios, they have to sell games. DMC3 was a really hard freaking game. It's not user friendly, right? If you're coming in, you've never played a DMC game before, you know, the game is not noob friendly at all. Right. So I understand exactly why they put Nero into the game and why he's so simplistic. But like at the same time, for me coming in, it's like not having an option to play him, like just having to play. You more or less, you don't have a choice. You have to play him.
Yeah.
I didn't like it at all. And like, oh my God, he's such a whiny brat. He is such a whiny brat. Like, I love what they did in 5. In 5, he's older, he's matured. It's amazing. Destiny. They did some really cool things with his weapons. Like, Blue Rose is a weapon, a giant ass revolver that fires 2 bullets at the same time. Like, amazing. They have some really, really cool design ideas, and I feel like he peaked in DMC5. Like, I think that's the full realization. But yes, exactly. Him, like, every goddamn cutscene just yelling, Kyrie, Kyrie, Kyrie. Oh, man, it gets old so fast, man. Like, god damn it.
Yeah, definitely. And then you have to factor in that, like, you can only play Dante in, like, certain missions. You can't play the full game as him. Like, it's very limited. Like, it's understandable why it wasn't enjoyable. But you had a dream.
Absolutely.
Maybe the dream's telling you something, Broly. Maybe it's time to join the Guard Flyers, okay, and learn all the bullshit. Because, listen, okay, see, once you learn, you will be addicted, because pulling that shit off it feels great. It's phenomenal how fucking fun that shit is.
I can imagine, man. You know, I think it will happen. It's just a question of time. Like, I feel like going back to DMC3, like, it's amazing how everything's kind of like come full circle. Sorry, I keep hitting my mic, so I'm gonna stop. So hopefully that's not like blowing everyone's ears up.
That's good.
Okay, cool. It's pretty amazing how how, you know, coming back and being able to play DMC3 with all the mods and changes right now, like, for me, like, it's a dream come true. Because there's so much control and there's so much things that I can do with the push of a button that I wouldn't have even dreamt about when I was younger playing this game for the first time. Like, the fact that I can push a button and stop every enemy from dying and juggle them, like, essentially infinitely. I can literally turn any room into a Crystal Skull training room, and I don't have to sit in the Crystal Skull. I don't have to, like, manage DT or enemy DTs. I don't have to worry about screwing up a combo and then, like, having to kill the enemy to start again. Like, I can literally sit in there and practice like that. Even something as simple as that, I'm like a kid in a candy store, man. Like, it's amazing. So,
oh yeah.
Eventually, like, the game has its limitations, but I could totally see myself picking up a copy. Like, seeing now what's possible with mods on DMC3, as old as it is, like, I feel like I can't wait to dive into DMC5 and, like, even re-explore DMC4, because I know with the trainers on DMC4, you can do essentially the same thing. You can turn on 3 enemies and you can just literally sit there and wail on them forever, which is pretty freaking cool.
Yeah, like, DMC as a series, like, just would not be as interesting to me as it is without, like, it wouldn't be as interesting without the mods. I feel like the mods give it so much especially 5 for reasons that we'll get into, but, like, just the longevity that it gives to the series is ridiculous. Did I say as a series? Sorry, I meant DMC as a series. Benefits from, like, mods and stuff, and it just adds so much to the games. Like, even something as simple as, like, giving an enemy infinite health goes such a long way. Especially when you're trying to learn new things, because trying to learn new things when you don't have infinite health enemies is, like, the biggest ball ache. It's just awful. Yeah. I don't know how you guys did it back in the day. It's a ridiculous amount of patience.
Yeah, I can't even imagine, man. Like, going back, you know, like, even now, like, just thinking back, like the amount of trial and error, it's just insane. But I mean, you could say the same thing about anything. Like you play any type of modern game, and it uses a checkpoint save system. So you get so far and then you die. It's okay. You respawn at the checkpoint. But if you go back to the NES days, like I remember growing up with games like Contra, like Double Dragon, things like that on the original NES. And I mean, dude, you die, like you run out of lives, you run out of continues, like you're starting that shit at the beginning, man.
Games used to be so fucking like infuriating. Like, so if you go back to that shit now and you try that, you will be like mad in minutes. Like running out of lives and all that jazz, like no save points and stuff is just it was painful.
That's expert level, man. That's master level right there, man.
Yeah. Awesome. So DMC5 got revealed. That renewed your interest in the games. That's what re-sparked the sort of flame for you to get back into the games. That was the sort of
for DMC for sure. Like I was already back in some capacity making videos. So I around the time when Transformers Devastation came out. Well, actually, even for Bayonetta, like Bayonetta kind of rekindled my interest. I actually made a few Bayonetta videos during that interim, and they are on YouTube. They were kind of just like when the game first came out, I was exploring like some of the game's mechanics and things like that. So I put up, I think, like 1 or 2 videos, but that didn't last long because Bayonetta I actually didn't really like. But I was still playing. Action games like Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance, like absolutely phenomenal game. I know you're a huge fan. So I was playing games like that. But when Transformers Devastation came out, like I had, I think I uploaded just a regular video, and then Sorry and Dash reached out to me on one of the videos, and him and I just, because he was knee deep in that game, he really liked it, and that's him and I actually started coordinating and working together on a guide. And part of that, when we were doing that process, I was actually starting to upload a video. So I actually created, for a short time, a new YouTube channel. I left Broly as it was, and I actually launched a new YouTube channel called Details Gaming, just kind of utilizing one of my my other usernames. And I think I uploaded maybe like 20 or 30 videos, and then I ended up just kind of like, getting sick of uploading again and just deleting that channel.
Wow.
But that's kind of what got me back making videos in some capacity. And then I think I took like another hiatus because I was actually back in school at the time. I was doing a master's degree.
Right.
So I was working full time, doing a master's part time, and like I had zero time to play games and upload videos and make YouTube videos and stuff like that. So went back on hiatus, and then I more or less was planning to come back after I played the DMC5 demo. That's really what did it. I played it and I'm like, this feels like DMC. When I first played DMC4, that was the other thing. There was something about the original build for DMC4, and I think I played it. I can't remember if I played it on PS3 or Xbox 360. I think I played it on the 360. But there was something about that game. It just felt so off. It didn't feel like a DMC game, like it just kind of felt like its own thing, it was DMC in name only and like had some of the similar mechanics, but it was just weird in terms of like how it felt playing it after playing 3. But then like I picked up DMC5 and I jumped right into the demo with Nero, and it was like I could immediately jump cancel and like do all this other stuff. And I remember like when I first tried DMC4, like I couldn't do any of those basic things. Right? Like it was like jump canceling felt so weird. Yeah. It was so bizarre. But yeah, so like I played the DMC5 demo, and I was like, yeah, 1,000% I'm coming back for this.
So what was your sort of first impressions of the game? Like I know everyone's first playthrough, like they were sort of, this is the best thing ever, this is fucking incredible, I love this shit. But what was your sort of first impressions like, a couple weeks after the game? Because I know you really enjoyed it. I've seen you streaming it a lot, but after the sort of first playthrough, was there like, did you start picking up on things you didn't like, things like that, or was it still just sort of like, this is fucking great?
Yeah, I think for the first couple weeks, it'd be interesting to go back and kind of watch like my YouTube videos I was coming up for it, like because at the time I was playing it a lot. For me, like I was still absolutely loving it.
Mm.
I was diving in. I was at the time I actually wasn't working. I had taken hiatus from work to travel, and so I was in between jobs, so I had a ton of time. And basically, all I was doing was playing the game and like making videos for it. So I was making like enemy guides. I was exploring boss guides. I was learning how to play like Nero. So I was still loving it for like the first like 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
I was, yeah, absolutely. Valtrax said it right. You know, I was very much in the honeymoon phase. I was loving every aspect of it.
Yeah, same, to be honest. It wasn't until like, okay, so like me and Devil Never Cry, we got like early, and Keo, we all got like early copies.
Mhm.
And I remember one of the first things I noticed was like reversals are not here. Do I have like a bug? Am I not doing them right? Have I got like a buggy? Because you could do them in the demo. So I was like, what the fuck? Am I doing something wrong? And then like eventually we realized like, oh, it's not in the game. So like immediately there was a bit of a souring there for me, like after I'd done my first sort of playthrough, and then like more things came to light, you know, like the jump cancels were sort of janky and a whole bunch of stuff.
Yep. See, stuff like that at first didn't bother me. I like reversals weren't really a big thing in DMC3's meta.
Right.
Like I know you can do them. But like it just really wasn't a thing, right? I know that was a bigger thing in DMC4. So stuff like that didn't bother me right away. And even at the beginning, I was like, you know, like I think this is a great game. Like until it wasn't really until the mods on the PC side really started to making some like really amazing adjustments to the game. You know, even things like anything from small things like being able to customize the costumes. Like I remember watching Dark Harmonizer do a stream, and like he had like colored Dante's coat to blue.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's amazing. Like, why can't we do that on console? Like, there's so many things that the devs could have done. Or that other mode. I always forget what it's called. It was from the DMC remake, where you can turn a mode on or off, where you have to have a style meter S or above.
Yeah, must style mode. Yeah.
Yeah, like there's so many little things like that they could have added or peppered into the game to make it, and that would have added so much replayability. The fact that you have to play certain guys on certain levels, like it was just all these things started coming to light, and they just started adding up. And then, you know, there was all these announcements from Capcom that, you know, we're doing this, we're working on that. It's like they were building so much hype, and then like, you know, a patch, you know, there's a patch in the works. It's like, oh, what could this be? Like, is this Virgil? Is this a DLC announcement? And then like, it's like, oh, we fixed like one thing.
Yeah.
You know, we fixed like one little small bug that like was inconsequential and like didn't affect anybody, and like broke your cheat tables.
Oh yeah, like the game done such a good job of building the hype, and then done such a terrible job of carrying the hype afterwards. It just fell flat. Like even Bloody Palace, like we found Bloody Palace in the files. Like we could play that shit before it came out. And then it came out, and it's just the same as 4's. Like, there's almost no difference. Shit was just, like... it's one of the worst sort of, like, post-launches for a game, like, I've ever seen. Like, at least recently, it's, like, one of the worst. You know, there's so many things from DMC4 that they had such a good opportunity to, like, fix. Like, what you said, the 3 characters, like, you can't play other characters on their missions. Like, you think they would have learned that lesson from DMC4. They didn't. Bloody Palace, like, they had such a good opportunity to, like, do so many things with Bloody Palace. Like, you know, like the, like, sort of making your own levels, like, snap map style, that kind of shit.
Oh my god, yeah, I never even thought of that.
Like, can you imagine, like, if you could place objects and enemies and stuff, create your, you know, like the old Tony Hawk games, where you could build your own skate park?
Yeah.
Imagine that with DMC. Like, it would be the best shit ever. Like, they could have added like a randomizer, boss rushes, no fucking timer. Like, it's just so lazy. And that's how I feel with DMC5. Was like they've done a lot of things good, but there was a lot of laziness and a lot of parts of it.
A lot of missed opportunities.
Yeah. like DMC is the king of missed opportunities, like 100%. Yeah, like you can.
I think one of the biggest problems with the game, like as good as the series is, and every game is amazing in its own right, but it's like they just can't get it right, you know. Like there are certain games that come out and it's like the game's like almost perfect, right? Like they just get everything right, and like, you know, the original DMC3, I would say, is pretty damn close to a near perfect game. But like all the subsequent ports that they've done, they've always gotten something wrong. You know, like whether it was like the original Steam port that was like janky and broken as hell. The HD collection on Steam has input delay.
Oh yeah.
You know, the other versions on PS2, PS3, Xbox, and then the new versions on PS4, Xbox One, they don't have style switching or the weapon switcher. I think the Switch version is probably the closest one.
Yeah.
Is probably the closest one to perfection, although you don't have the extra abilities from like the mods and stuff.
Yeah.
But like
yeah.
So it's amazing that the modding community has been able to come in and add so much additional value, but it's like it's not even necessary. Like it's just something like that Capcom should have done. And I mean, if you look at Capcom's other franchises, like this is Capcom's like redemption arc, because it was really bad there for a while. Like they were just having bad game launch after bad game launch. But they have a really successful ongoing franchise with Street Fighter V. Right? Like I don't play Street Fighter V. I know it has a lot of issues, but one thing that you see is they have supported that game from day one. Like how many additional DLC characters have they added? They've done at least like 2 or 3 expansions. There was so much support on that game from the beginning. So yeah, they mucked it up when they released it, but they really, you know, kept it going and maintained, kept it alive, and added so much value to the game's life. You know, as time has gone on. And then you look at DMC5 and they got everything right with the launch, right? Like obviously the game is not without its problems, but there's so many things that they could have added or fixed after the fact, and they're just like, here you go. There's no end game. There's literally no end game. It's just like, here it is. It is what it is. And maybe there is something down the line, but they really fucked up the end game.
Yeah, I mean, even if there is something down the line, I mean, it's been like what, a year and 2 months, and there's just been like radio silence. There's nothing. Yep. Also, Tatsum. I never say it right. Tatsumaru Black. In the chat, he popped in. So there you go. Hi, Tat.
Oh shit! Yeah, what's up, Tat?
What was I gonna say? I was gonna say something else. There was something there. But my old man brain has promptly gotten rid of it. I think that's what it was. DMC5, like, I always looked at it like, okay, release content, stuff that the modders can't do, and the modders will fix whatever you fuck up. Like, just give us content, give us like DLC, like the potential. Can you imagine if they brought back old weapons, like for example, like Bale, Agni and Rudra as a DLC, you know, Lucifer. Bunch of shit you could bring back, like, and even expand on it, and they just didn't. And I think like part of the reason, in fact, the real reason for that is, and I talked about this with the Street Rider Matt when I was at Capcom UK, is like Capcom have 3 franchises that they really, really care about, and it's Street Fighter, it's Monster Hunter, what's the other one? Resident Evil. That is the 3 series that they really, that's like their A-listers. Yeah. And everything else is just like, it comes second, you know, it's not a priority for them, like.
Which is ridiculous when you think about it, because like DMC is probably one of the biggest action game franchises in the world. Like the problem is that it's probably the best, right? But I mean, maybe we're biased there. Like it's probably not the biggest. I think God of War unfortunately is the biggest in terms of sales, but like Devil May Cry is up there, man. And like Devil May Cry 5 sold so well. Like even Capcom freaking tweeted. It's like, this game has sold like 3 million copies. It has sold beyond our expectations. And it's like, okay, great. Like, why don't you release a $50 DLC with like extra weapons, Virgil, Lady Trish? Like, why don't you add this additional content and you'll make even more money? Like, why do you refuse to gain money, Capcom?
It's like
Seriously.
the approach they have is like, okay, we're gonna build a house, pour the foundation, and just stop there. That is the approach. That, like you made 3 million sales. Imagine how much more you could get if you bring in new players and entice new players, and like, I think Mike, one of my friends, Mike or Mick, was talking about this earlier. Is like, or last night was like, Resident Evil done the whole weekly challenge thing. DMC is so suited to something like that, weekly challenges, things like that, reasons to get people to play it, like beyond the sort of combo making sort of like.
Yeah.
You're gonna say something? Yeah.
Well. No, I was just gonna say, and compete as well. Like if you do a true style tournament or something like that, like there's so much replayability. Like there's DMC. One of the things that's so amazing about it, and I think the reason that we all love it so much, is that you essentially have an inbox, or sorry, the game functions like a sandbox, right? It has its own rules and its own mechanics. But once you understand what those rules are and what those mechanics are, and with a little bit of practice, you can do so much cool shit. You can pretty much do anything you can think of.
Yeah,
right?
like,
So
yeah.
there's infinite variation, and there's so much room for creativity. No two players play the game the same.
It's definitely like the most unique action game in that sense. Like, the fact that players can develop their own play styles and have it be distinctly unique to each other is like one of the reasons I love this game.
Yeah.
Like, you watch Dark Harmonizer, he plays his own unique way. Like, DK plays his own way. Me and you would play differently. And that's what makes it sick.
Exactly.
And there's just so many opportunities to expand that, and it just doesn't get the love it deserves. It's fucking disappointing. But what can you do? You can't. Yeah. I guess.
I think at the end of the day, the way I see it is, the devs poured their heart and soul into it. They did what they could with the resources and the time constraints that they had. And at the end of the day, if those resources get pulled away, I'm sure, like, if you asked Itsuno, or I'm probably not saying that correctly, Itsuna? Or Itsuno?
Itsuno, yeah.
Itsuno, yes. If you asked him, if he had the option, like, I'd be shocked if he said, like, if he said that if he had the opportunity and, the funds and the resources to add more content or, work on, expand DMC5 in some way, I'd be shocked if he said no. But at the end of the day, like, he has a boss, and it's not really up to him.
Yeah, like,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. I try. It's like the devs did an amazing job. The modding community has done an amazing job. Like, and it's unfortunate that the higher ups didn't really see the opportunity in front of them.
Yeah, because I think I read something like that the dev team wanted to, like, do additional content, and the higher ups didn't greenlight it for whatever dumb fucking reason. So it's that is what it is. Is this franchise, like, it's always going to be that small niche little thing for as long as Capcom want it to be. Mm-hmm. When it really could be so much more. Let's be honest.
It could be. It could literally be the biggest franchise in the world. And it's. You see them evolving, like they did the right things. They did the right things with Dante, the fact that they brought back weapon switching, that they brought back that customization for, you can go in with no weapons, you can go in with like 13 weapons, right? Like, so they were doing things intelligently, like they made really smart changes to Nero, how they realized that he was very, very basic, arguably unfinished in DMC4, and so they made a lot of really cool changes. And then, unfortunately with V, they kind of made the same mistake with Nero in DMC4. He was just too simple.
Yeah.
Right. So, but they were learning, and they were doing good things. And I think there a massive gap between 4 special. No, there was 4, and then special edition for 4 wasn't until like 4 or 5 years later.
I think it was more than that. I think it was 6 or 7 years after. It was 2015. Yeah. Like, there you go. Huge gap, yeah.
So, if any luck, we'll get a special edition with proper turbo mode, and maybe like a ladies' night DLC. Sometime between now and the next decade.
You would hope so, but
Jesus.
Like, after what just happened with the MC4s and 5s, like, hiatus, like, I really don't trust them to do fucking anything. Like,
yeah.
It's so disappointing, man. It's like Ladies Night, Virgil DLC. Like, it would be so sick. Like, just. Oh.
Dude, I forget who it was. I'm pretty sure it was you though. On Twitter, you posted an image, and you're like, "What if?" And it was like you had, kind of created. Whoever it was had created this like almost like a DLC, like a poster.
Yeah, that was me. Yeah,
an announcement poster. It was
yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And it was like Virgil Ladies Night DLC. It was like old weapons returning, like Agni and Rudra and Navon, a couple other ones, and it was like. Holy shit, that would be fucking amazing. That would be a dream come true.
Hold on, I'll find that and we can pull it up real quick for the people who don't. Because, like, I was sitting there, like, making that, like, fuck, none of this is ever going to happen. Why am I torturing myself like this?
I know. That's it, man.
Okay, yeah, I found it. Okay. I think we have to, like, okay. Have to do some switcheroos with the monitors here. Hopefully don't leak my, like, location.
Yeah, no worries, man.
We have to pull up the old faithful for this. Nope, that's me. There we go. Yeah. Okay, so, like, obviously, like, all of this was, like, it was fantasy, but it was just brainstorming. Like, I would have been happy if one or two of these happened.
Yeah.
Like, even basic things like co-op bloody palace. Like, how do you make a fucking amazing co-op system and not do that? Like, what the fuck?
They had like the beginnings of a co-op system, but it's still not proper co-op.
No,
like they did a better job with the DMC3's co-op in Switch than I think they did in DMC5.
Yeah, like 100% they did. It's like actual co-op. It's only local, but it's like it works. It's functional. It's like they know what we want and they just tiptoe around. Like they tiptoe around it and give us a half-arsed version of like, or like a watered down version, or a fucking stupid version like DMC5s. It's fucking. It's hard being a DMC fan. It's painful. But like like DLC weapon packs, big DLCs like Dante and Virgil in Hell, like.
Yeah, dude, like, holy shit, that would be fucking amazing. Like, how much would you be willing to pay for this? I'd be willing to pay at least $50 to $100 for this. Like, almost the cost of a new game because of how much content it is.
I imagine, like, the DLC stuff would be, like, the weapon packs and stuff would be cheaper. But realistically, like, I'd pay whatever they want. I know I would, because I've got no willpower and I would want to try it. Like, I would pay whatever they want to put the price as. I would pay for it. Especially if it's like, bringing back all this good shit. Like Lucifer, Pandora, Alistair, Spyro. Bring back a fucking...
Spyro, don't get me excited, bro, man. Spyro is my jam.
Just a big fucking anti-tank rifle in DMC5. Just fuck up the homies with it. Yeah.
Hell yes. That was the one thing. Like, there's certain things that are, like, so standard in these DMC games. And then, like, 5, for whatever reason, just doesn't have them. Yeah. Like the fact that, like, in DMC3, great example, like you jump into the air and a single hit air move that does a lot of damage. You have like two in DMC3. You have the aerial cross move with Agni and Rudra, and you have Beowulf's Hammer Fist. The closest you have to that is Balrog's triple punch combo. You have to punch 3 times.
Yep.
In order to like get a move like that.
Yep.
Like, yeah.
And I was like a big fan of like thinking about like Beowulf returning with its classic gauntlet moveset, so that you do have access to those without giving up what's already there.
Yes,
like it would be the best. And then
can you imagine using like Balrog in kick mode and then Beowulf, like switch over to Beowulf for like all the uppercut moves and rising uppercut and real impact and doing like Twister or like Agni and Rudra air combos and stuff like that. Like,
it would be the best shit, homie. And then like the Beowulf mod, you can see it in the background. It looks so fucking cool in DMC5.
I know, man. I know. I've seen. I will get on those mods eventually, man. I do have plans to pick up like DMC4, DMC5. It's just a question of time, dude.
Yeah,
that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Like even during this quarantine, man, like I still find like between like I'm playing my time right now is mostly divided between like DMC3 and Doom Eternal, and it's like I just don't have time to really get into anything else. Like even playing those two games like with dedicated practice, I find is so hard.
Oh yeah, like and like as soon as you take a break and come back to that shit, you are rusty, and yeah. It's yeah, I can imagine, but like honestly, like DMC4 deserves another shot with a new perspective. I think, like, don't get me wrong, you're not going to go back to it and just instantly enjoy it. You'll have to be willing to like put the practice in and learn the new systems and stuff. But I feel like it's the most rewarding in terms of how it feels.
Yep.
DMC4, and then DMC5 modded like gives you a glimpse into like
what it could be, but I know it's janky. Like I know I don't actually physically know from my own personal experience because I haven't played it with mods yet. But based on conversations I've had with you and like other people, it's like the mods do a good job of replicating it, but it's not the same of these things being actually built into the system.
Yeah, like you can tell it feels artificial.
Yes, exactly.
Which is not taken away from the modders' efforts. It's just what they've been given to work with.
Exactly. They've done the best with what they have, right?
Yeah, exactly.
No, and I agree. And like, as much as I have gripes about, my original experience with like DMC4 and like DMC4's like campaign, its characters and things like that, I will 1,000%, agree that, especially DMC4 Dante is the pinnacle of the series in terms of mechanics and depth.
Yeah.
1,000%.
Yeah, 100%. And like they had the perfect opportunity to build on that, and they destroyed it instead.
Yeah, right. And that's the other big question mark. It's like you're so out of touch with what your community is actually doing. Like it's like DMC4 in so many ways is like a happy accident. They did all this crazy, incredible shit, and it's like they didn't even know. And it's like man, you accidentally discovered gold. And then, like, rather than actually pay attention to it, you're like, I don't know, I'm just gonna be ignorant as fuck and just make a new game.
Discovered gold and settled for silver. Yeah.
Yep.
Like, can you imagine 5 with like the feel and fluidity of 4? It would have been like I would give one of my fucking nuts for that shit, homie. Like a leg and
fun.
Exactly.
Fun, yeah.
It's just less percentage of a baby, but it still fucking works. Take it and give me a good DMC5. And let's be honest, bro. Let's be honest with ourselves. Special Edition is not going to fix that. It's going to be Virgil, maybe some other goodies, and like maybe turbo mode. It's not going to be like inertial reversal fucking rehearsal version. It's not going to be any of that shit.
I know.
In fact, if you think about it, it'll be worse because the mods won't be there, so it'll just be...
All the models will have to start from scratch, man, assuming that they're still there and not working on other stuff.
Yeah, well... Right. Yeah, let's hope like a modder one day just decides, fuck it, I'm going to make DMC what it could be, and just put all the good fucking parts of all the franchise into one. Like, imagine that. That'd be the best.
That'd be pretty cool.
If only. So DMC5 modded, like, once you try that shit, Broly, and you go back to vanilla, you will feel like...
Can't.
Like, honestly, like, it feels like the game's working in slow motion when you go back to vanilla from the modded editions. It's crazy. Yeah.
Oh, that was one of the main reasons, actually, why I stopped playing it, is that lack of turbo mode.
Yeah.
Like, granted, like, my execution is still, like, really lacking in DMC5, so, like, even on normal version, but, like, it's one of the things that you just, like, adjust to, and it's, like, it's just, the game's not... Once you learn how to play on turbo, like, the game's not as fun.
Yeah, 100%.
And playing it at normal speed.
Like, at the end of the day, the game's about being as stylish as you can, and, like, when that speed is, like, upped, and you do some cool shit, you will feel like a king.
Oh yeah, you adapt.
Yeah.
Even I remember even watching Dark Harmonizer. Like he was so he was playing at 1.3, which is absolutely ludicrous. Like my hands are hurting like thinking about that. But like he changed it to 1.2 and then even 1.1 and even 1.1 turbo mode like looked like such an improvement.
Yeah, it's like a drastic improvement to the game, but for who knows what reason it was left out.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so see for you, like I remember you made like a video talking about like the reasons that you're basically going to stop playing 5.
Yes, yeah.
Which was, it was quite saddening because like you were playing a lot of 5, and it was fun to watch. But like, I can't remember what the reasons were apart from the turbo mod stuff. Like, there was quite a few reasons you went into. Like, what would it take for DMC5 to bring you back? Do you think, like, to reinvest you?
Yeah, I'm willing to play it. Like, I'm willing to play it right now and load it up and get the mods. And I'm looking forward to it because I will do it eventually. It's on my to-do list, but it's just a question of time. Like, I do it right now. Like, the biggest thing at the time is I didn't have a PC that was strong enough to run the game and like all the mods and like stream and record. Right. So like getting a copy of the game, it's like, okay, cool. I can maybe practice and run like void mode, but that would be it. So ever since I got my new PC, like that constraint is no longer a problem, but it's just right now, like, I just don't have the time. I'm enjoying DMC3 too much. Yeah. And I have a lot of stuff, man. I feel like that game has just exploded in terms of its potential. And so I'm invested in that, but like, if I clear up some time or if I have some vacation, I have some vacation coming up in June. So depending on what's on my plate, like, I could easily see myself diving into 4 or 5 modded. So I feel like the mods are there. The mods and my interest is there. But it's just, so right now it's just a question of time. I'm also like enjoying Doom Eternal too much, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, like, you're a huge Doom fan. I mean, the game is fucking sick. Like, Doom's 20... We'll talk about that later, because that is a whole other hole that we can go into. But, okay, yeah, the mods, but like, mods and stuff aside, like, the vanilla game, Capcom adds something, what would it take for you to come back to it? Like, the vanilla game, like, they add stuff.
Okay, so let's say like, let's say next month, Capcom, like June 1st, right? Capcom is releasing like a DLC for all the consoles, right? So I don't have to buy anything if I can just like load up, let's say, my console version of the game on Xbox,
right?
Or even if I just bought, if it was like a free download or even like a $20 download or whatever. I'd love to see turbo mode. I'd love to see like a proper Virgil. At the very least, those 2 changes would make me come back. And like at least start like playing it again. But I mean, in terms of like a wish list, my wish list is more or less what you showed on that what if DLC scenario.
Yeah, I mean, it would be fucking incredible, but
like I would buy the game like 2 or 3 times over for that DLC, like 100%. In a heartbeat, right?
Of course, like it would be the best, and just. Oh, it's just a rabbit hole. It's like just a rabbit hole of sadness to go down that.
Yeah. Well, what about you, man? What about you? Because like I know you're running like the modded version. Let's say there was going to be a special edition that was coming out that was going to break all the existing mods. So you basically had a choice between playing this new special edition or playing the modded version. What would it take to get you to switch from the modded version to the special edition?
It would have to like. Okay, so first of all, it would have to have like all the things that give me a reason to play the modded version. So like reversals being back, inertia being present, like more present, because it does exist in the game. It's just not usable.
Yeah, exactly.
Like some form of usable inertia that's like basically they would have to up the skill ceiling, because like
I agree.
Yeah, because like the game just isn't. And like Destiny Spider's saying here, like, I love playing 5 despite its flaws, it's so fun. It might be because I'm not as good at DMC, like, there's not many reasons to play this one, like, opposed to, like, 3, where, like, we were talking about stun values and all the stuff you can do, and then 4 has all the guard flying and, like, 100 other fucking different things. This game doesn't have any of that.
It's
like,
true. It does. Like, you peak very quickly, and then it's just like, okay, well... It's just my combos can get fancier because like you're just taking existing relatively easy concepts and kind of putting them together. There's a couple glitches and things like that are kind of janky and you can work into your combos. For example, like I think it was Dark Harmonizer discovered that ability where if like you're in the air and you do an air trick, but like you jump cancel, or you do a ground trick and then jump cancel, it puts you slightly in the air, so you're still kind of in the air and you can.
I think
you do a Sky Star or something like that. You know what I'm talking about?
I think that was DK. Yeah, it was DK that discovered that, I believe. Yeah.
Cool.
there are some, you know, there is some cool things, but they feel sort of gimmicky.
Exactly.
Yeah, and like they don't live up to what was like. They don't replace what's gone. Like in any form. Yeah, so it's like for me now, like DMC5 for me, I still play on like an old version with like a specific set of mods, and I just push that game to the limit. Like I just fucking run around the maps, look at like a certain variety of objects, and think to myself, how can I fucking make some cool shit out of this? Like at this point, it's not even playing DMC; it's a fucking combo creator.
Yeah,
like. It's like a sequencer. That's what it is for me now. It's not a game anymore. It's a sequencer, and I just find out like I just try and push it like how far it can go. And while that is fun, it's not what I wanted for the game either. To be fair.
Yeah. No, I agree. And that's I think like at a certain point, you know, there's. Unless you're doing like speed running where you're starting the game with like a fresh save, or you're doing like new game plus, there's not really a lot of replayability in the campaigns. Like a lot of the times, like once you've kind of beat the campaigns, once you get all the S ranks and everything, you know, that really is kind of what the game becomes. You kind of just run in and you're running around. You're like, okay, you know, I'm going to find a cool spot. Actually, one thing I was curious, can you spawn in enemies? Is that a thing?
You can. You use... They don't have a method to just pop an enemy in, I believe. It has to replace a move. And I think like the common one that gets replaced is, you know, the Frost Hat move that spawns the little... It like spawns the hat and it like follows you and shoots. That move gets replaced into a spawner. For like any enemy that you choose, like the Hellcaners or whatever, like...
Yeah. So you can literally be in any area, and then there is a method that you can spawn. Okay, so that's cool. Because like was that possible in DMC4? Forgive me, I really don't. I'm not familiar with the mods that much. I have to get up to speed on those.
For vanilla, I'm not too sure if it was, but for special edition, it was with the Super Trainer. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the coolest thing. Like if you can pick your level and like what enemies you want, or literally just go in and spawn whatever the hell, I think that's the coolest thing. Because I remember back in the day, I'm not sure if you played any of the Star Wars Jedi Knight games. There was like Jedi Knight. Yeah, dude, Jedi Knight 2, Jedi Outcast, and Jedi Academy. You could literally spawn any enemy in the game anywhere. And like this is going back, Redgrave. Oh shit, it's Devil Never Cry. Yeah, dude, like you can literally go anywhere, and you know, without any cheats, without any cheat tables or mods or anything, you can literally go anywhere and start spawning in and create your own battle. You can literally, I remember I used to play that game for hours and hours and hours, because like you could literally just run around and you could spawn like 30 Sith and then 30 Jedi and just have this massive lightsaber battle. And so how are we in 2020? We can't do that with a DMC game.
Like, the devs don't realize how far simple shit goes with these games. Right? That's the problem. Like a lot of my combos and my combo videos are like me putting an enemy somewhere it's not supposed to be, because that area is so fucking useful for whatever I'm trying to... Also, yeah, that wasn't Devil Never Cry, that's Kyo.
Oh shit, I'm sorry, because isn't he Redgrave or something like that?
I think I think he might have used to be like something Redgrave, but I think he changed. Yeah. Sorry, man, my bad.
I know he used to be Redgrave. Man, I'm tripping.
What was I gonna say? Do you remember what I was saying? It's fucking gone.
You were talking about putting an enemy in a spot where it's not supposed to be,
right?
Because you're trying to do some janky combo or something.
Yeah, exactly. Like I can do some fucking crazy shit in very specific locations, and it's only possible due to the spawner. So it is kind of ridiculous how like they don't give you some kind of like tools to do that, considering the game's all about the expression of creativity and moves.
Yeah, like I think that would be one of the coolest things. Like if they built it into the console, or if they made it possible that you could do it with a mod. Like the fact that you can go into a Jedi, like into Jedi Outcast, and like you can program buttons on your keyboard. You press this button and you spawn an enemy. Like something so simple like that goes such a long way to expanding the longevity, giving you chances to practice stuff or do things that are not normally possible.
Yeah.
because like you essentially have you build this amazing combat engine and then you don't give your players anything to do with it.
Right, exactly. Yeah, like they limit themselves so much and they don't even realize it because people are just too busy like screaming, Virgil has a huge ass, and it's like, fucking motherfuckers, I hate you all.
Oh god. Yeah, what is it? He's like, I'm trying to sneak up on these demons, but
yeah.
they're clapping together or something like that. Oh my god.
Yeah, like the memes are funny, but like, like obviously I enjoy memes, but like some of them are so low effort.
I know.
And like they get so much attention, and then I see players who like no one knows, who deserve so much attention for what they do, and it's like frustrating because imagine like a fighting game, like a huge fighting game, and like the community treating the players the way that, like DMC fans do to their players. Like you would not see that shit.
Yeah, like you're not. It's like, oh, you're not Danguri, therefore, you're irrelevant. Or I know it's weird. Like the relationship and kind of like the relationship and the back and forth between the people who actually like invest time and energy into the game, either by making tutorials or making combo videos or like pushing the game to its limits, showcasing new tech, compared to the people that are just more so casuals. It's unbelievable, man. It's like the casuals, they don't look up and aspire to be like that, whereas like you see that in other games, like you see casuals, they essentially treat the best players almost like royalty, in the sense that it's like, these people are amazing at the game, and these are people to aspire to. Whereas like, you look at the DMC community and, you have so many people who are either new to the game or those casual players, and they're looking up and they're seeing these people who are pushing the limits, who are, at the upper echelons in terms of skill, and they get called elitists. It's like, you're just a sour elitist or something like that, So yeah, it's kind of an interesting dynamic.
Was it like that back in the day? Like back 2007, 2008, was it like that?
Well, you know what? This is like really before like social media, right? So you had like, I remember on YouTube, I used to get like a lot of praise and comments of people who are being like, "Wow, like this is amazing! Like you're really skilled at the game. Like this is amazing. I'm very motivated to kind of like get better." I've gotten so much feedback from like that jump canceling tutorial, and it's like, thank you for like putting this up and things like that. Like there's a lot of like gratitude and there's humbleness, right? People are like, wow, this is amazing. I want to get better. And so, this is like before Twitter, before social media, like even before like YouTube, was really, it had come into its own. So, a lot of the times, like the only contact that I really had with, the actual community, there really wasn't a community. Like these online communities weren't a thing yet. For single player games, if you were a multiplayer game, it was a different story, because you would go online and then you could connect to people online. You could speak to other people, right? But like this with a single player game, really the only way to communicate with people was either on a forum somewhere. And in general, like in my experience, most people were humble. Most people were like really nice. Like all the pros back in the day on the IGM forum boards, man, like the game boards. Man, like we used to like share tactics. We would critique each other's play. Like all in all, it was like really solid. And it was like a great place to like learn, grow, and develop. Because if you were really having a challenge or experiencing a challenge, you could just go there and, bounce ideas off other people. Whereas now it's like, I feel like, on Twitter, and I don't really pay attention to other social media platforms. I'm primarily on Twitter. But I mean, it's like there's so much negativity in every game community. Yeah, it's like you fire up Twitter. Like I only follow like 200 something people, and they're all kind of gamers for the most part. Right. You fire up Twitter, and like you scroll. You don't even have to scroll down. You scroll down to like your fifth or sixth message, and you've already seen like 2 or 3 negative tweets. Someone complaining or bitching about this or that. So I mean, it's kind of like how it is, right? People are gonna voice those negative opinions, and it just boggles my mind how much negativity and how much like like dislike and just negative energy there is in these spaces. It's like, you know, everyone expects to be perfect, and you know, they expect games to be perfect. They expect, you know, they have, well, I don't know, they have all these expectations, and it's like as soon as things don't meet those expectations perfectly, it's like everything's ruined, like this is terrible, like it's hot garbage. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's infuriating. Like, and to be honest, it's really calmed down now. Like at DMC5's launch, it was a shitstorm. It was like, yeah, it was a fucking.
The community was like, it was like people were up in arms, man. There was, you know, heated arguments. I couldn't, you know, every other message on Twitter was someone arguing about, you know, missing mechanics from DMC4 or DMC5, or comparing DMC5 to other franchises, and it's like DMC5 is cool, but God of War is the best, and it's like, tell us why, and it's like, it doesn't even matter. Like no one's arguing, it's just everyone's yelling at each other.
Yeah. And what I found was like the side that was arguing, you know, against DMC5's flaws were always arguing with like substantial evidence and things backing it, and it would just be people who like have no idea what they're really talking about, throwing shit, like fucking monkeys shitting in their hand and just throwing back, you know, like it was just fucking chaos, and it was like, it really like, honestly, like put me off of them, like left a bad taste in my mouth, I guess. Yeah. To the point where I'm like, well, I don't give a shit, fuck you. Like, how about you have no fucking good players to look up to, you bunch of sour bastards? How about that?
Yeah.
We're all out of here.
Yeah. And there was, you know, basically it's like, unless you're, you know, like Donguri or maybe, I don't know, one or two other players, like if you're anyone else aside from that one person, your opinion, it doesn't matter how substantial, you know, or substantiated your opinion is, it doesn't matter how many facts you use to back up the point you're trying to make, your opinion is invalid unless you're Donguri, and then your word is gospel. Right? Like,
yeah, like he could come out and say like DMC5 is terrible, and I don't think he would get any negativity at all, because he's just he's seen as like the god. Yeah,
exactly. And I mean, kudos to him. Like, not to take anything away from him, you know, he is probably like the godfather of Devil May Cry as it is now. Like he's definitely at one of the upper echelons, right? Like, so kudos to him. Like he, you know, but he everyone, we said before, everyone has a different style and approach to working to playing the game. So he has his play style. You know, you can see his signature when you watch him play, right? But that doesn't, you can't just say that he's the best. It's just he's the best at his play style, right? Yeah, exactly. Dr. Shy Guy actually says it really well. He's Daigo, effectively, in terms of like in terms of the fighting game world. He's
so
the
what's
Daigo
that?
of. Oh, Daigo is a really famous Japanese Street Fighter player.
Right.
So he's been a top Japanese Street Fighter player since like Street Fighter 2 Turbo back in like the 90s. Right. So he's played like every Street Fighter game, and he's always been like a top competitor. But he's a top competitor, but he's not the best.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or like, you know, the best is arbitrary. The best can, you know, whether one player is the best or another player can be arbitrary. It can depend on the day.
And like Donguri exists in a very weird situation where it's like his gameplay in 4 was amazing, but like once you start to get good at these games, you realize that, because he's the one that got me into it, and Donguri is a nice guy. The problem isn't Donguri, it's his fans. They like rampantly worship him, and then everything else is like, well,
everything else is trash.
Everything else is trash, and that sort of like perspective to me is fucking madness. Like, I don't know how it's crazy. Like he's like the Eminem of like combos, where like all the casual people like love him, but like when you look into it, he's not that good. He's good, but there's better people. But because he's not the best, he's the most popular, and that's the unfortunate part, basically. Yeah. But like,
exactly, and so he kind of sets the status quo, right? So anytime someone else comes along and they're doing things differently, or they're doing like crazier shit, and they're challenging that status quo, like his fans unfortunately get up in arms.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. which is unfortunate because honestly,
I know
like,
it's kind of unfortunate that there's like a lot of people who are kind of like in the know, and it's like, okay, we more or less are on the same point, but like it's almost like a fractured community, right? There's like, you know, you have Donguri's followers, you have people who are like casual watchers of the game, because there's a lot of other like content creators that will just upload like some videos here and there, but they're not like dedicated DMC players. They'll just like, you know, they'll upload like a boss rush video where it's like a compilation of they kick the shit out of all the bosses, and then that's it. They never play DMC5 again.
Yeah.
Right? So there's like players like that, and then there's like dedicated players who actually like try and push the limits. And it's like they're completely unheard of. They're under the radar, like, because no one's really interested in them, right? Which is unfortunate.
And like the only realistic way to like put it.
Now we can't hear you.
You can't hear me? What am I? You can't hear me? What?
I wonder, is it because I had the same thing. It in Discord, it was like I had this message that my mic was not transmitting audio for 30 seconds.
Right.
Can you guys hear him? Oh, you guys can hear him. I wonder why I can't. What the hell?
So we can't hear each other? Oh god, I can talk so much shit about you now, bro. You got no idea. Look, you got no idea. Fuck you. DMC3 is stupid.
I have audio, just not you.
Don't tell him. No one tell him, okay? Nobody tell him. What's up?
Dude, that's so funny.
Yeah, it's hilarious me making fun of you right now. You can't even hear me. Ah, shit. Everyone else can hear me, though. It's awkward. No one tell him, okay? Nobody tell him.
I think that's what I'll do.
Yeah, I think you will, homie.
Millz, can you disconnect the call on Discord and then call me back?
Okay. Okay. Hello? Nothing? Okay, hold on.
No, I still can't hear you. Dude, that is weird.
What about now? Can you hear me?
Oh, there we go. Yeah, what the hell?
Just a magic trick.
There you go.
I switched the region to the US, so there you go. Also, my voice broke. Right. Millz just said DMC3 is stupid. Just letting you know, Broly knows I would never say that. I would never talk shit about, you know, DMC3 or anything like that. You know,
I think, I don't know. It's hard to, man. Like you can definitely talk shit about DMC3, man. Like DMC3, 1,000% has its flaws, but without DMC3, you wouldn't have DMC4 or 5. Man.
I would say 3 is like the closest to the perfect DMC, to be honest. Like, it's the one DMC I don't think I would talk shit about, to be honest. Okay, so where were we with that conversation then? Like,
oh, we were just talking about like how Donguri's fans are a bit fanatical, and it's like, you know, when someone comes along that's, you know, pushing the standards of the game, that's really trying to like almost like break the game or do some really revolutionary stuff. It's just like no one really cares. It's like, well, you're not Donguri, so it doesn't matter what you're doing.
Right. That's what I was going to say. I was going to say, like, the only reasonable way to put it, and it does sound elitist, but it's the truth, is that they don't like it because they don't understand it, is the problem.
That can be part of it. Yeah, I think so too. Well, that's the thing, is like DMC is one of those games where it's like, it's such a complex game that, you know, if you really don't play it, you really don't get into and immerse yourself in the game and the game's mechanics. And if you really don't understand them, then it's just, you're going to be looking at, you don't even know what you're looking at.
Yeah, like, and that's like, they talk so much shit about it. Like, if they had half of the idea of like how like much it takes to get to that level, I feel like they would be more appreciative. But they just don't give a shit, to be honest. They would rather see fucking like Dante with a cowboy hat, fucking doing some dumb shit. So it's whatever. And I honestly, like, I'm done trying. Like, like I know who watches me. Like, I know who's like interested in watching me and watching the things I do, and I'm happy with that. Because like, if I had Donguri's fan base, I think I would fucking declare war on them. Like, I would. Fuck that shit. Like, I'm happy where I'm at, but like, it's a shame that other players don't get what I think they deserve.
Yeah. No, I agree. Absolutely, man. Yeah, because it's just, at the end of the day, it's like, they're kind of just like, oh, Donguri's the best. and they're not necessarily interested in learning the game. They just want to see whatever he puts in front of them, right? They don't question it. There's no desire to get better. For them, it's entertainment, right? So, yeah, no, it's true. And I think that's kind of like the sad part. I think that's one of the other reasons that kind of like made me kind of back away from the franchise back in the day. Like even when I stopped making DMC3 videos because the game was getting on in its lifespan, and there just wasn't the same interest in it. Like, so it's amazing, obviously, coming back, because especially now with like the HD collection and obviously like DMC3 being released on Switch, you know, there's a lot of renewed interest in the game. But just like 5, like if I came out right now and started making like content for 5 and like maybe like new tutorials and stuff like that for 5, new boss rush videos, like I don't think it would be very easy to grow doing that. Like it's really hard to grow your channel that way because there's just not the same level of interest. When the game first comes out, yeah, a lot of people come to it, but a lot of people they look for some like simple tips and tricks on how to get like, you know, the platinum or how to get their trophies,
right? And
then they're not really interested in pushing the game to its limits and really understanding it, you know, having like a deep understanding of it.
Yeah, and like on that note, like if you compare the first combo mat I made for 5, which is absolutely trash, like it's awful, got like 170,000 views.
I know, I saw that. It's crazy.
And I hate it. And then like you look at like the last one I did, which was Eco Style, which was a collaboration, like only just barely is reaching 3K. And it's simply because like the hype dies down.
Yes.
And it's as long as you know like who you're making it for, and you know that the attention you're gonna get is smaller, you'll be happy with it. But if you're wanting to grow, like it's gonna be painful to like get there. Now.
Yeah. Absolutely, right? And that's one of the things. I think it's like if you're coming from a content creator, because like that's a bit of a different conversation, but if you're coming to the table as a content creator and it's like, okay, what are you making in terms of your content? It's like, oh, Devil May Cry stuff. It's like that's kind of just the way it is. There's always going to be some people who are really just interested in like they just want to beat the game, so they want tips and things like that. They just are okay with the surface level.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, like so in terms of it all depends on what your goal is, because in your case, like if you talk about your combo video Echo Style, like if your goal is to get like a lot of views, like making combo videos and combo mads and stuff like that, it's probably not the best way to go. But if you're looking to do how can you push your technical expertise and knowledge of the game to its limits and be as stylish as you possibly can and really just express yourself, then in that sense, 1,000% you'll be successful. Yeah. Unfortunately, it won't translate. It might not necessarily translate to YouTube views, but at the end of the day, you still nailed it. You still succeeded according to your metric.
Yeah, and it's good to have something to work towards. What was I going to say? Like, just on a side note, Destiny Spider said, 2B Powers, tutorials, Brolys, and Chasers are all you need. I would disagree with that. I feel like tutorials that you guys make are a good starting point, and it's a good place to find your feet.
So much more to it.
Yeah, like, that it's a good starting point, but it's really just a guideline. Like, you need to put in the hours. That's what you need. You need to put in the hours. You have to want to get better, and you have to want to find your own way of playing and your own play style, which is why like I branched off and did a whole bunch of like, you know, like mission stuff and environmental combos and stuff like that. That was me finding my way, and you couldn't have read about that in a tutorial. Like, there's things, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you can't teach. Yeah, there's things that you can't really cover in a tutorial video. You kind of just has to you just have to get in and you have to get your hands dirty. It's like a really good metaphor is like, let's say if like you're learning a brand new fighting game. Mm-hmm. It's like I can teach you a combo of it, like a combo. You know, I can. It's like, here, pick any character. I'll teach you like a bunch of combos, but that won't teach you how to play the game.
Yeah.
Right. Like you learn one aspect of it, but like you won't understand like character matchups. You won't understand more complex things like mix-ups, footsies, things like that. Like, and it's the same thing for Devil May Cry. Like my jump canceling tutorial, that's a primer on a very, very small piece of the puzzle.
Yeah. still a very good piece of the puzzle and is incredibly helpful, but people like look at tutorials and think that's all I need. Nah, fam, you need to get in the trenches and fucking work, homie.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I mean, yeah, like, it's understandable why it's so small. I guess I just wish it was bigger. Like, you know, like,
I agree.
People like that are good at their games. Like, there's some people that make so much money off of being so good at their games, and like, all we want is a little bit of fucking gratitude. You selfish little piece of shit. Okay, calling me a toxic asshole or whatever. Just whatever happens, you know. It's like, I just want a little bit of like, not even for me, because I don't give a shit about me, just appreciation for like other people, which is why like I sort of brought up the whole DMC showcase thing with Matt Walker, and then obviously Keo and stuff. Like, we've all been pitching in and getting people on the DMC Twitter channel. Like, I legit just want to see other people succeed. That's all I want, and get the respect that I have for them. I want to see other people respect them that way, but it's the fucking internet, and I have a better chance of fucking walking to the moon. So, but
I know it's so funny, man. That's one of the, like, DMC, you know, as amazing as it is, like, it's so unfortunate that it has such a small fan base as it does.
Yeah. Right.
And unfortunately, it's like, you know, the highest skilled players at the top have an even smaller fan base. Yeah. Because there's that casual interest where they look at the game at the base level, and then they look at some of that more complex shit, and it's like flashy and cool, but they don't understand it. It doesn't translate the same way as other games. Like, if you look at like a fighting game, there's a lot of similarities between Devil May Cry and fighting games because their mechanics is so similar. But the fact that, like, you know, you can see someone do a crazy ass combo that does like 50% damage. Like, that's understandable because they can see the health bar. Yeah. Right? So that is something that's translatable, and it's something that even a beginner can understand. Even if they don't understand how the combo was executed or the mechanics that made the combo possible, they can still understand it. Whereas, like, unfortunately with casuals, when it comes to Devil May Cry, you know, there could be way more complexity in a combo video or a really, you know, complex combo that you'd see. It's probably way more complex than any fighting game combo, but people just don't understand. They're like, oh, he killed the guy. Exactly, yeah. Like, oh, he's just juggling him, when like there's so many other factors you have to consider, like positioning. So much going on. Yeah. And realistically, it's just because, like you said, the lack of sort of visual feedback, and because there's no competitive nature to it, is probably like part of that as well. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but yeah, you know, you lead a horse to water, can't make it fucking do a combo, you know. So it's whatever. Exactly. If I like inspire one person to like try and get better at these games, then I'm happy. It's whatever. Yeah. Yeah, and dude, like at the end of the day, you know, and that's kind of always been my approach. Like, even back in the day, like when I was making YouTube videos and tutorial videos, like, I wasn't out to like get famous or anything like that. Like, was never my ground goal. It was just, you know, as I got better at the game, I'm like, shit, this game is hard. Like, and I had some people that helped show me and guide me along the way, and like really inspired me. And so, like, if I can put what is it? Put it forward? Is that the I'm having a brain fart. But yeah, like if I can put that forward and like inspire or motivate or like show someone else that, you know, show them the way, or like even something to make it a little bit more personal. Like, you know, when you're trying to like solve a puzzle or a problem, like if you're working on a really hard math problem in school and you can't figure out, and all of a sudden there's this light bulb that just goes off and it just clicks. You're like, oh man, I get it now. Like, if I can inspire someone to have that kind of like epiphany or that kind of light bulb go off, then I'm happy. Yeah. Is that why you sort of took the tutorial approach to DMC5 as opposed to no? Because you didn't make any combo videos, I believe. You didn't make any for 5? Oh, in 5? No, man. So you know what? Like, yeah. Yeah, like the problem is that I didn't consider myself good enough to make combo videos. I was like, no one's going to want to watch this shit. Or like, it wasn't up to my level of standard. Like, I look at the stuff, I look at the stuff I can do in DMC3, and then I look at 5 and I'm like, shit, like I need to level up. And so that's it was always kind of something that I maybe wanted to do later. And then like, as time went on, I just lost interest in the game. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's fair enough. Hopefully, the modded version can maybe spark something there. That would be good. Even if it's just you streaming again, I would be interested to see, because, like, if you guys don't watch this motherfucker stream, he has got so much fucking energy, and such a character. He's like such a character. He brings so much energy. He made watching Vanilla 5 fun. That in itself is an achievement.
Thanks, man.
So it would be great to see that again, but listen, you should go watch him anyway, because he plays Doom and he's pretty fucking sick at it. Although, yeah.
I'm getting better. I'm slowly but surely, but man, I'm getting my fucking ass kicked in Doom, man. It's so funny. But yeah, I mean, you gotta make, like, what is it? I was reading yesterday that, like, success is like hours of tedious practice and thousands of failures.
Yeah.
Right? And like anything, whether it's Devil May Cry, whether it's like a video game, anything in life, is gonna be like that. But like, if you have that desire to just kind of like push through it, like it'll happen. It'll definitely happen. So I appreciate that, man. Thank you. Like, I will never claim that I'm the best or the smartest. But I always will try and bring the hype, man, because I don't know, this shit just gets, I just get excited about shit, man.
Oh, you do. It's fucking great. Yeah.
Thanks.
But yeah, okay, so moving on, because that it feels like we could go round and round in circles here. There's no right answer to what we're talking about. It's just how it is. Yeah. So moving on. To Doom, because I know we can't talk to Broly2012 without talking about fucking Doom.
It's definitely been a big part of my life since Eternal came out. Like 5 or 6 weeks ago now. Like, so it's been like Doom to almost 24/7, man. It's Doom and Devil May Cry 3. I'm like a kid. I'm in paradise, man. It's amazing.
Doom Eternal definitely is like fucking good shit. Like, I played 2016 fairly recently, and I just couldn't get into it at all. But
yeah, I didn't really get into it as much either, to be honest.
And then Eternal comes out, and there's so much cool shit. Like, air movement is improved, and there's a whole bunch of new things. It feels really good. I've yet to complete it. I've been sort of taking my time with it, and been sort of doing other things. But man, that game feels incredible to play, and it's good shit.
Yeah. The way I compare them is like, if you want to make a comparison to Devil May Cry and use Devil May Cry as a metaphor, Doom's 2016 is almost like Devil May Cry 1, and like Doom Eternal is kind of like this mismatch between DMC3 and DMC4.
Yeah. Like,
the game's faster, it's more arcadey. Like, people criticized it because it takes away a lot of the realism aspect. You know, like Doom 2016, to its credit, like did a really good job with its environments. Like, it's more realistic. It doesn't push the bounds of like, this is like, it's exaggerated, like, obviously, but it's not like, it's over the top and it is exaggerated, but it's still like slightly possible. And then you have fucking Doom Eternal, and it's like, this shit doesn't make any fucking sense. It's completely illogical, but it's like, it's more of a video game.
Yeah.
Like Doom 2016 could be like a realistic action horror movie, whereas Doom Eternal is like an adrenaline fueled fucking action game roller coaster, and it's amazing.
Yeah, exactly. And like, honestly, like, some franchises just shouldn't have any sort of like realistic approach. Save realism for the games that sort of like lean towards that, like realistic shooters like Arma 3 or whatever. Like, leave realistic things to simulators. I don't want it to be realistic. I don't want it to look good. I want it to fucking feel good, and Eternal feels fucking good, homie. That shit is wild.
Dude, you hit the nail right on the head, man. And it's, to me, it's such a throwback to the original Doom, because I feel like, even like, if you look at the original release of Doom, it was kind of like that action horror game. But then in Doom 2, like, they did add, they did make shit more colorful. They added more demons that had like, crazier, more over the top effects. They added, more guns to make it crazier and more over the top, right? And it's like, they did the exact same thing with Doom Eternal. Like, Doom Eternal is Doom 2 Hell on Earth, like, reimagined. And it's like, it's incredible. It feels good to play. It looks good to play. I'm actually slowly but surely working on a video on actually comparing it to Devil May Cry and how the games are so similar.
Oh, that would be sick.
And like, oh man, like, and even the way, like, even like you have the super shotgun with the meat hook, right?
Yep.
Like how you can grapple around like freaking Batman, fly around, like that shit is amazing. It feels good. It looks good. It just it's so good. And it did such a great job with that game.
And most importantly for me, it does have a high sort of skill ceiling. Like there is a lot to learn for that game.
Yeah, like, there is.
Like it's huge. Like I'm pretty bad at it, but I have fun with it, and I know that there's a lot to learn. Yeah, I need to get back to that shit. That shit is fucking phenomenal. Like, first time I played that, I was nerding the fuck out. And I'm not even a big Doom fan. Like, I've never played any of the originals. I only played 2016
no
for
shit.
Really?
What?
Yeah, I was more of a Halo man, unfortunately.
I got you. Okay, so do you want to hear a really interesting piece of my personal history? Is that Doom was actually the original Doom was actually the first game I ever played.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Wow. When was that?
Okay. So quick story. Okay, story time.
Yeah.
So because I love telling this story. So I was like 4 or 5 years old, right? And it was like when you're a kid and you wake up at night, what do? You go and bug your parents. You're like, Mom, Dad, like I can't sleep, right? So my mom used to work nights, so my dad was home. So I go downstairs, my dad's in his office. So like, I knock on the door, go in. I'm like, Daddy, I can't sleep. He turns around and he's like, holy shit, Derek, like you need to come in and you need to sit down and you need to see this right now. And he sits me down at the computer and it's fucking Doom. And he shows me how to play. He's like, this is how you move. This is how you shoot. This is how you open stuff. Go. And like, there I am. I'm like, I can't even remember how old I was, man. I was like 4 or 5 years old at the time. And there I am at the keyboard and I'm playing freaking Doom, man. And it was just like,
that's fucking
what
sick.
Is this? Yeah. It's crazy, man.
Fucking that's a baptism by fire in the gaming, man. Yeah. Jesus. Can't remember.
Literally, man. Like, and so this was pre-Windows, man. Like this is when you used to have to launch games and stuff like that from DOS.
Yeah. Wow.
I might be aging myself, man, but yeah, that's how we used to do it back in the day, man. We used to run stuff from DOS, man. It was crazy.
There's something sort of wholesome about that, isn't there? The whole But yeah, Doom's fucking crazy. Yes, I saw earlier. Like I've yet to complete it. I mean, I've not even encountered the Marauder yet. Like, I'm super taking my time with it. It's enjoyable as fuck.
Dude, there's no rush, man. There's no rush. Go over that shit with a fine-tooth comb. Yeah.
I think I started on the second hardest difficulty. It's not Inhuman, it's the one below that.
Ultra Violence. Which
feels like the perfect sort of blend for, like, difficulty. And, like, I don't want it to be too hard because I will get frustrated with it. Like, it's at the perfect level for me now. And
dude,
I think
Ultra Violence, yeah, Ultra Violence. Oh wait, are you talking about? Are you the second one or the third one in? Because the hardest difficulty is Nightmare.
So you get Nightmare and then the one above that.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, Ultra Violence.
Yeah.
So yeah. Dude, Ultra Violence, like, and like, I'm experienced. Like, I've been playing Doom all my life. Like, there's always been a Doom game in my life. Played like, Doom 3, Doom 1, Doom 2 back in the day.
Yeah.
Played the shit out of Doom 2016. Although I only ever beat it once on Nightmare. So like, man, Ultra Violence. I'm like, yeah, this would be a cakewalk. Like, no, man, like it kicked my ass.
Yeah. But it feels good to get your ass kicked because you're just like, right, okay, motherfucker, let's see what happens this time.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then the music kicks back in. Oh, it's great. It's good.
Oh, my God. They did such a good job, man. Shout-outs to the GOAT, Mick Gordon.
He's a beast.
The composer. Oh, he is, man. He's a machine. Yeah. He's a freaking genius, man.
I saw there was a whole drama about the didn't get to mix it. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. He it's because so it's like Bethesda, like, to their credit, they did so much right with id Software, and like they gave, because like Bethesda is like fucking up a lot of their shit right now.
Yeah.
But like, to their credit, like they basically gave id Software everything they needed to do to like do this game and do it right, and then they rushed the goddamn soundtrack. They're like, oh, the soundtrack's not going to be ready. Sorry, Mick, we're taking it away from you because we need it to be available on X day. And it's like, it's a disaster, man.
That is ridiculous. They should find some way to amend that quickly, because like I see how much, obviously again I'm not the biggest like invested in the Doom franchise, but I see how much like Mick Gordon gets worshipped, deservingly so.
Yeah.
And you would be
Or
crazy to like fuck him over that way. You definitely have to amend that shit quickly.
Oh, dude, he's already saying he'll never work with them again. He's publicly stated that.
That's
and
what
it's like,
happens,
dude, like he's as big a part of the Doom franchise now as the Doom Slayer.
Exactly.
That would be like without Mick Gordon and without his music, like you almost have to reboot and start again.
That's how do you live up to that? There's like you'd have to bring in someone like a heavy, like well-known hitter.
Yeah,
to live up
tough.
to that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big hole to crawl out of, man. So yeah, it's a really, I don't know. It's like they did everything right and then they fucked up the end game. Right? It's Capcom and DMC5 all over again.
There's never going to be the perfect game, unfortunately.
That's it.
But yeah, it's like I saw there was a DLC screenshots released. I think they said like they want the DLC characters to be like not the Doomslayer. I'm pretty sure they said like they want it to be. Hold on, I'll pull it up.
I haven't seen any of this actually, to be honest. Yeah, there's already comments in the chat saying that the DLC won't have Mick Gordon's music, which is a fucking travesty, man.
That is
that I am heavy-hearted to hear that.
Like, how do you replace it? You know, you can't.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't find what I read, but it said something like it's going to bring unique experiences. The way it was worded was basically like you're not going to be playing as the Doomslayer, so it'll be like a new character like sort of situation, like new ways to play the game. So we'll see how that works out.
Yeah, that will be interesting. I mean, it all depends on what they do. Sometimes like mixing things up could be cool. Like, what if it's like some crazy ass samurai guy that like Dante that like literally, or like Virgil or something that can literally run around with a katana slicing demons to pieces, right? So I don't know. I'm not gonna knock it before like I see or learn more.
Right.
But man, like, you know what I'm concerned of is as soon as I hear that, because man, like they did everything right, just give us more.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you know, give us like another chapter with the Doomslayer, right? So I don't know. We'll see what they do. Have you played any of the master levels yet?
Don't think so. Is that the purple gates? No, it's not, is it? No.
No. So master level is like a piece of content where it's like end game content.
Right.
Once you beat the game, it's like what they do is they take one of the levels from the campaign and they remix it by just adding, like they literally just goes balls to the wall with the demon encounter. It's designed to just throw every fucking demon in the kitchen sink at you.
I love that shit.
And it's designed to frustrate you and kill you, and like it's really good. They're challenging.
What they would do well to do is to take the approach that, okay, you play the DLC character you play the DLC chapter as the DLC character, and then boom, you can play it as the Doomslayer afterwards, and turn that back and make the new character playable in the Doomslayer levels or even the master levels. It doesn't have to be the full thing.
I agree. I think if they do, if there's a big change and if there's a big change up in terms of how the DLC characters function, and like if they have different mechanics, then 1,000% they need that. Yeah, divergence mode.
Exactly.
1,000%.
Yeah, exactly.
1,000% they need that. What was I gonna say? But you know what's funny? One of my biggest concerns that I have, like hearing that though, is all I'm thinking of is like an ODST situation. Did you ever play ODST where it's like you weren't even playing as Spartan?
You're not a Spartan.
Playing like some human.
I feel like
it was like you're weak as shit.
I like that though. I like that approach to it because it was very different. Like playing as an ODST, like I enjoyed that. But for Doom, that wouldn't work. Like if you're playing as one of the humans, you're gonna be like frustrated because Halo is slow paced, you know, it's not super fast paced, it's nice and slow, and when you add the sort of like fear factor of being a human, that works, but not for Doom. Like, you have to expand on that crazy wacky shit, make a samurai guy who fucking like, I don't know, like has like a katana Gatling gun, there you go, fucking make some crazy shit.
I agree. Like, oh man, if you had like a Devil May Cry style character or something like that, or I'm absolutely, I 100% agree. It needs to be someone as OP as the Doomslayer. Yeah,
exactly. Can you imagine like a Dante type character, or like a melee type character in Doom who can juggle enemies?
Oh man, can you imagine?
Holy
that would
shit.
be pretty sweet.
Exactly.
Or it's like, string combos together, kind of like they take the meat hook and they switch it around. Instead of being pulled to enemies, maybe it's like Nero and you pull them in and you can do all kinds of crazy combos.
That'd be fucking sick, yeah. But we'll have to wait and see. Maybe that's bullshit. It may just be the Doomslayer, to be honest, but...
Yeah, or maybe it's like a different skin of the Doomslayer or something. Who knows?
Yeah. Whatever it is,
we'll see.
I'm sure it'll be good, because, like, they don't disappoint gameplay-wise.
No. I mean, like, Doom 2016 for its time was revolutionary, and it was an amazing game. It was so much fun, and, like, they're focused on the right things.
Yeah.
They're saying fuck realism and, like, do this other stuff. They're focused on solid mechanics and something that's fun and fast-paced. And they've crushed it. Yeah. By those metrics, they've absolutely crushed it.
Yeah. But yeah, that's about as much Doom as I can get into, because I really have to get back to it and complete it, because it does look fun as shit. And fighting the Marauder looks fucking sick.
Dude, he's good, man. Like, and that's one of the other things I love about it. Like, so many people were bitching about the fact that, like, you fight the Marauder, and then he's a boss encounter, and then you fight him as like a mini boss. Like, he's not as OP, or he's like a powered down version. You fight him as a regular enemy. And it's like, yeah, fucking good. That's how games should be. You fight a boss, and then you fight them later as a mini boss.
Exactly.
That's fucking amazing. That's good programming.
People just want their handheld for these games, you know? They just want... Yeah. They just want to feel good without having to actually be good, and that's just the problem. And that translates to DMC as well, and every other game that's worth playing.
Every other game. Anything with a high skill ceiling, but especially, I don't know, maybe, like... I was having this conversation on stream the other day, and it's like, you know, there were so many people who threw flack and gave Doom Eternal flack because of, like, you know, the mechanics and, like, you know, the game was being too hard and the Marauder was too annoying, and they couldn't be bothered to actually learn the fight.
Yeah.
He's Hell Vanguard in Doom, 1,000% Valttrex, but it's like, how is it that gamers are so entitled that they can make these arguments? That would be like someone going and, like, you know what? I'm gonna go and, like, start, you know, learning boxing. And then it's like without any training or practice or anything, they go and fight an amateur boxer with no training or preparation, get their ass kicked. And they're like, no, fucking boxing is bullshit. Like, I don't know what they were thinking when they invented this sport. This is a dumb sport. Like, no one has a sense of entitlement. It's like, no, boxing is like, why is it that if it's a recognized sport or it's an official sport, you know, it's beyond reproach. Like, there's a certain level of respect. It's like in games, they just don't have any respect. You know, gamers don't even respect their own goddamn form of entertainment. They don't respect their hobby.
It's fucking true.
I don't know.
Spitting facts. Yeah. And as a boxer, I really like that analogy. Like, it's the truth. You can't just fucking walk in and think you're going to do anything, you know? Like, you have to have... Well,
yeah. Dude, not so you don't even know how to punch.
Yeah, like, 99% of people don't know how to punch, like, until someone really shows you how to,
and you practice. You actually hit a heavy bag, man. Dude, my buddy was an amateur. He was an amateur boxer, and so I used to have a punching bag, and him and I used to, like, you know, spar a little bit. So it's fun, but man, it's challenging. Like, there's so much technical skill in it, right? But there's a ton of technical sport in all types of games, whether it's an action game, whether it's a shooting game, whether it's a fighting game, and it sucks when you see people just kind of shitting on it, and they're not even bothering to take the time to learn it.
Exactly. Yeah, it's frustrating, but it's just how it's always going to be. Like, as long as there's lazy motherfuckers out there, there's going to be complaints, and that's just how it is.
Yeah. And there's like, you know, mediums for those people to bitch and complain, whether it's YouTube or social media or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. Time is getting on. I didn't realise what time it is. We'll move it along a little bit. Just before I get to the Twitter questions, I want to say how good does fucking the whole Mortal Kombat 11 shit look. The Aftermath shit looks good, man. It looks fucking... Seeing, like, the story DLC, because I remember for Mortal Kombat 10, because, like, that was the last Mortal Kombat I was super invested in. Like, I actually got, like, tournament level good at.
Oh, shit. That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's the only fight... No, not, like... You know, like, local things, not like going to big events or whatever. That's not what I mean. Like, to the point where I could compete with other people who are really good.
Wow.
With Liu Kang, just fucking, he was the boy in MK10. See some of the combos you could pull off. And Kotal Kahn with the whole, like, Like, I played very niche character Koro Khan with the Blood God, where he could buff himself and give himself like 88% combos. That was my shit. Like, yeah. But,
that's awesome, man.
Yeah, but Mortal Kombat 11 for me didn't really fill the gap. Like, it felt like it took a step backwards. You couldn't do any of those big long combos anymore. It felt more like the traditional Mortal Kombats for me, which is sort of like dumb fun, arcadey. But that's just me. But the whole story DLC, like, that was something in MK10 that everyone sort of wanted.
Yeah.
And now they're bringing it in MK11, which is fucking sick. And then the new characters. Besides RoboCop, I'm not too big of a fan of.
He shocked the hell out of me, man. And like they freaking trolled everybody, because right before the RoboCop, there's a scene of a cop, and it's like a cop like calling for backup, and I'm like, oh shit, it's Stryker. Like,
yeah.
Yo, that'd be cool. And it's fucking RoboCop, and I was like, what the shit?
Yeah.
Like, damn, bro. Yes, it's funny because for me the inverse was actually true. I had Mortal Kombat X and I played it, but I never really got sucked into it. And like the combos were cool and I liked that aspect of the game. So like I could literally sit in training mode and I could learn and practice the combos and do all kinds of crazy shit. And that was really cool. But it never sucked me in as like playing it like an actual fighting game. But for me, MK11 was actually that. Like, like the combos, I know that's one of the big things is like the way the combat engine works is they kind of nerf their own combo potential, and that's one of the biggest criticisms of the game, and it's totally justified. But one of the reasons why I like that game so much is that it's much slower and it's more methodical, it's strategic, and to me it's more like chess. Whereas like Mortal Kombat X is like a balls to the wall, like fucking guessing game.
Yeah. Which is fair enough,
right?
And like, yeah.
and that's completely fine. Like, not to take away from the game, because a lot of freaking games are like that. Man, if you ever played like Marvel, any of the Marvel games are basically just like that. They're balls to the wall guessing games.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
I'm putting you in a mix-up situation, and you have to guess. Am I going low? Am I going high? I'm going to hit you from behind, right? And like for me, I'm much more of like a slower like footsie player where it's like if I hit you, I'll take my 30-40% damage combo, but I'm much more interested in like the footsies and the mind games and things like that. So for me, like MK11 is my jam.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I'm just glad they added Fujin. Like, finally happened. Like,
finally. I know.
Like,
I know. No, I'm super excited for the new DLC. The story, as much as I'm interested in the story, the one complaint I have about that is like the story in the fighting in a fighting game. Like, don't get me wrong, because I love the way NRS does their story modes. Injustice 2, MKX. I never played MK9, but I've watched. Yeah, I know. I actually need to buy it. I'm going to buy it.
It's the best.
For like $5.
Yeah.
A lot of people say it's the best because it's like even more broken, like ridiculous than MKX is. But yeah, like MK9, like I've watched like the story movie or whatever, the compilation of all the cinematics. So like I know it has a really kick-ass story as well, and they did a really good job with that. But the thing is with the fighting game, there's no replayability in the story, right? You normally play the story once and it's like a one and done. You don't come back to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So, okay, so they're charging like $50 for like 3 characters in a story DLC, which has no.
Is it $50?
Yeah, it's Canadian. Yeah.
Canadian dollars. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So it might not be so, but at the same time, so I'm like, it's like okay, cool. Like I don't know if I'll buy it straight out of the gate. Like if it was like $60, for example. For 6 characters in a heartbeat, yes, because that's where the replayability is. But for like one story DLC, so we'll see. I think I really love what they're doing. How they're essentially expanding the story to include all the DLC characters. Food. Shiva are going to be in the story. Sindel is going to be in the story as well. Shang Tsung is in the story because he was a DLC character as well. Maybe even Shao Kahn. So I think that's really cool. Who else? Okay, so we're all on this topic. Who else would you love to see in MK11?
Okay, so like for me, like my favorite Mortal Kombat's back in the day, which is unpopular, was the 3D ones, was Armageddon and Sorry, I'm
I got
gassed up.
you.
Deception and like those ones. Armageddon
Cool.
in particular. Like a lot of people hated that shit, but for me, I liked it. Like me and my dad
That
used
was
to
your
play it.
jam.
Yeah, and a lot
Cool.
of the 3D characters, I thought were fucking like. Of course, there were some fucking stupid ones like mocap, but some of them were fucking cool. Like Havoc. What was the other guy?
Havoc is a fan favorite for sure.
Reiko. What was the guy? I think it was Hotaru. He was cool. He was like he was from the Order realm, I think he was.
Yeah.
And you know, like the Dragon King Onaga. There was some sick characters there.
Yeah. That's cool.
What would I like to see come back? Onaga would be fucking ridiculous, but I've got a feeling they're saving him for the story mode.
Maybe.
Havoc, Reiko would be cool. Actually, let me pull up the Armageddon fucking... Because there will be someone I'm missing out.
Armageddon was like insane, man. Like it's just everybody under the sun.
Yeah, it's very like casual and like because obviously like no one had their own fatalities and stuff, which I get, but like I enjoyed it. Who would I like to see come back? You know who I'd like to see, and I know that Goro was a character in MKX, but you know Kentaro, the cat version of Goro.
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about.
I'd love to see him. Yeah, he was sick.
Cool.
Yeah. Taven, which was one of the main characters of the Armageddon story mode.
Armageddon, yeah, exactly. He was one of the God Brothers, right?
Exactly. Yeah, they could probably
cool.
do. Yeah, they could do some stuff with that. I don't really think no one else really comes to mind. Suhao, absolutely not. That was the guy with the army hat and the fucking thing in his chest. You remember? Was that him?
I don't remember.
Oh, like
no idea.
He gets like memed on. He like, bring back Suhao or whatever. No, I think that's it. To be honest, the ones I said, is who I would bring back.
Cool.
Yeah, 100%. Don't think there's anyone from MKX that didn't make it. Like, I don't care about. What was the twins, like the big guy and the little, like I don't care.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about, but
and
he was dumb.
Kung Jin was kind of silly. Takeda was kind of cool. He was all right.
Yeah, because he was a combination of like using the advanced like soldier tech and also like the Shirai Ryu like teleports and stuff, which is sick.
Yeah. Also Kenshi, I forgot about him. Melina.
I agree. Yes. Yeah, so I'm on board. Yeah, like Melina, I would love to see. Kenshi, I would love to see. I'd love to see the cyborgs come back. Like,
Cyrax and Sector.
Cyrax, Sector. One of my OG favorite characters is the original robot Smoke. Or Cyborg Smoke, who had like the purple armor.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, that shit is my jam.
What they did with him in Mortal Kombat 10 was cool. The whole Triborg thing, that was sick.
Exactly. Like how they had all three of them as one character, and I think I'd love to see them do that again. Because then again, you're not like chewing up all your combat slots, right? And I think it was really cool. So yeah, I'd love to see those guys come back.
Yeah.
I'm really happy Shiva is coming back. Like I know Shiva's not like a huge fan, but like I liked her in MK3, I think it was when she made her debut. Yeah. And like I know she was in MK9, so I was like I didn't play MK9, so the opportunity to play her in this game will be cool.
You got to play MK9, homie. It's shit hot. It's really good. It's probably my favorite.
Oh, 1,000%. I'm gonna actually, you know what? I'll probably buy it like next week when I get paid.
Sick.
Because you can buy it. It's actually off Steam right now.
Is it?
But there's I'm pretty sure I heard that it was taken down. But there's a game site where you can buy like you can get like deals on digital copies of games, whether it's for like a console or for Steam or whatever. And it's there and it's cheap, man. It's like you can buy like the definitive edition with all the DLC characters for like $5. So 1,000% I'll do it.
Was it really delisted? That fucking sucks.
I heard, yeah. So one of the reasons why I haven't bought it already is because I'm not sure if it'll work.
It's complete edition. It's on Steam, which is like all the DLC and stuff. I think the DLC added Kenshi. Who did it add? It added fucking Freddy Krueger, for fuck's sakes. Kenshi.
Yeah.
Who else did it add? Someone else will remember. I can't remember. It's only the complete edition that's on Steam now. Oh no, wait, it's not. It's no longer on Steam. Fuck. Yeah, you're right. It's completely delisted. What the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah, dude. Even like I'm doing a search and like I can't even find like MKX or like MK11, which is really weird.
I can find the MK11. Yeah, that's there, but oh, it's on sale for £20. Yeah, that's fucking crazy. That's doesn't really make any sense, but oh, that's a shame because it's fucking sick.
I agree. I mean, I've seen it and like I've seen tournament footage of it, and I know it's like it's broken as fuck, but like who cares? If everyone's broken, it doesn't matter. Like it's just cool. It's just a fun game.
Cabal is like ridiculously strong in that game. Like he is fucking unbelievable. Rain, yeah, he's in the DLC.
Yes,
Rain Kenshi.
Sorry, just responding to your question. Voltatrax was asking what site I was talking about. It's called CD Keys, and like I highly recommend. It's fantastic. You can literally get like brand new games, and like on day one release, they're like 20-30% off. It's like basically what they do is they buy digital copies of games, and then they sell them at a discounted price.
Right.
So they'll buy like 1,000 copies or thousands of copies of a game, and then they'll sell it on sale. It's pretty sweet.
I'm pretty sure, it's Scarlet is the last DLC, which obviously she came back in 11.
Yeah, and I know that I think she played very, very differently. I've heard that she played very, very differently. She's interesting. I like what they did with all the characters in 11. I just like, obviously it'll be amazing to see the game. They basically say that they want this game to be their version of MK9. They want to continue supporting it for the next couple of years. So if they continue like releasing DLC, if they continue releasing like, you know, tweaks to the game, because like, man, with the new story, with the new content that they're releasing, they're adding like a new stage, they're adding stage fatalities, they're adding friendships, like they're doing all the right things. So for me, it's like, it's amazing.
Oh yeah, it's fucking sick.
Super excited, and I'm also in the same boat as you. I'm so happy to see Fujin back because he was such a cool character, and Mortal Kombat 9 was such like a bizarre, like weird ass game, but Fujin was really, really cool.
MK9 is $5 on CD Keys. I might get that shit for PC. You know, that's fucking play some.
Man, maybe we should all do it. We should all do it and play on stream.
Hey, I'm up for it. Fuck it. I mean, I'll get my ass whipped. I was terrible at MK9, but I enjoyed it.
I don't fucking know how to play it.
Yeah, fuck it. Maybe. Okay, let's move on to the Twitter questions. Oh, before we do, I wanted to ask you, I remember Cosmic one time said, fuck, I wish Broly would speedrun, and I know Lunar Hero brought it up earlier. He was asking, because he feels like you've got the right energy and you'd be super entertaining to watch do a speedrun. Is there any potential for that maybe in the future? Because it'd be fucking sick.
Yeah. It's definitely okay. So if I was gonna speedrun anything, it would either be Dante, like DMC3 for sure. It would either be New Game Normal for both Dante and Virgil, and New Game Plus on either normal or hard.
Oh, fuck. Yeah.
So I think that's 1,000% in the cards. I actually think I've never done it, but I actually think, considering like how I play Virgil. And like with like jump canceling and stuff like that, I actually think I could do some damage as a Virgil speedrunner. It's just a question of the time. So I know you're talking about putting something together for a 4th charity stream. I know you've been floating that idea around online. So depending on when you'd be looking at, which I think you said July.
Yeah.
There might be something in the cards. Something special for that.
That'd be fucking sick. Definitely get in touch with Cosmic. He'll give you all the resources and stuff because he's super passionate about other people running. Like he will 100% give you the hookup.
Oh, dude, he's been pushing me, dude. Like I'll drop into his stream and just be like, "Yo, Cosmic, what's going on?" And then like what is it? Last time I was there, I was making a comment and like he kept missing his Royal Guard cancels, right? Which is the most frustrating thing. Like they're trying to speed run. The Royal Guard gods are not strong with you on that particular day. Like your timing's off by a millisecond, right? And I was like, "Oh man, this is why I don't do this run." And he's like, "No, Broly, the reason you don't do this run is because you're a bitch." And I was like, dude,
what?
Man, Cosmic just put me on blast, man, so hard.
You gotta show him.
I was like, every time, or like he'll come into my streams and be like, "Yo, Broly, like this isn't a speed run. What's going on?"
Yeah. He really wants to see you run, and to be honest, that would be fucking sick.
Yeah, I'm sure. Oh, dude, absolutely. Like, actually, what's hilarious? Like, a month ago or 2 months ago when I started getting back into DMC3 and I started running it for the first time. Man, those early streams were freaking rough, dude, because I remembered how to play the game, but I didn't remember some of the levels.
Yeah.
Like, it was so bad because it had been like at least 9 or 10 years since I'd played through the game. And like, I remember on mission 15, I think it was, like, I literally got lost. And it took me like almost an hour to beat the level because I just didn't know where the fuck I was going. It was so bad. But it's come back. It's come back.
I mean,
I think we could. I think we could definitely do it.
Oh, that'd be fucking sick. I would 100% watch a Broly2012 DMC3 speedrun. That has got entertainment value written all over the top of it. God damn, that'd be sick.
Love it, man. Oh, I'm getting pumped thinking about it, man. So yeah, I think we could definitely.
Let me tell
it's
you,
definitely something that I could start working on.
Like, I started running Metal Gear Rising. I
saw that too. Yeah,
it's the first game that I've been able to do like a full run of, and see improving your time and getting a new PB. That shit gets the juices flowing, homie. It gets the juices flowing. Yeah,
I know. Well, actually, one of the things that I'm actually working on, and that I want to do, is I want to start doing Nightmare and Ultra Nightmare speedruns of Doom Eternal.
Oh shit!
Like, not the broken ones. Like, I want to do the ones where like they're doing they're not using any like glitches, like glitchless 100% runs. Yeah. Like, if you I'm not sure if you follow the Doom speedrunning community or whatnot, but there's a player called Byte, BYTE. So he holds the world record for 100% Ultra Nightmare in Doom 2016. And like, dude, if you watch this guy play Eternal, he's like fucking inhuman. It's insane. So like, I watch him and I'm like, I don't know if I'll ever get to that level, but like, that's kind of like one of the things I'm definitely working towards.
Yeah, that's fucking sick.
That would be the after party for the stream. We'll speed run DMC first, and then that'll be the late night after party at 4 a.m.
You better get fucking
we've exhausted our DMC content.
You better get fucking practicing, homie. July is inbound.
I'm working, man. I know. I'm working, man. I'm working on it.
That's sick. Okay, let's get to the Twitter questions without further ado. Starting with our good friend Cosmic.
Hey.
What was the most important lesson you ever learned while trying to improve at DMC?
I mean, it was probably like, I don't want to say just jump canceling, because jump canceling is one component of it. I think it was frame canceling. Just learning that there was different types of cancels in the game, whether it's a jump cancel, a royal guard cancel, like that is something that was kind of like an underlying mechanic of the game that like I just had no idea I was there, or that I had no idea was there. And it's like, imagine, you're swimming on the surface of the ocean, and then you dive down and actually start to appreciate the depth that's there. You start to realize like how deep it goes. That for me, when I first started learning about just basic frame cancels, that for me was like a huge eye opener. It was like opening Pandora's box. So yeah. I would definitely say that would probably be the one of the biggest things.
They want me to play some shit on stream, but I'll do it like at the end, the very end. I think it's Jedi Academy related.
Okay, cool.
Mecha Mike, how did the DMC community differ back in the beginning? Was it much of a community at all, or was it very disconnected compared to now? I feel like we sort of went over that, but
yeah, I mean, there really wasn't much of one. It was like the players that were interested in getting better were talking, and they were on the forums, but like it was hard because like this is 2007, 2008, like YouTube was still very much in its infancy. A lot of people didn't even know that it existed, and social media wasn't a thing. Discord wasn't a thing.
Yeah,
so,
okay.
Very, very different, yeah.
Delusionary Killer asks, who were your influences? What were your favourite... Okay, I'll ask this question like in parts. What were your influences, obviously for DMC?
Yeah, one of the big ones is like when I uncovered that original forum that had like all those tutorials on the more advanced mechanics of the game, things like jump canceling, frame canceling. Again, that kind of just opened my eyes in terms of what was possible. The early combo videos. So I mentioned like Prince of Devil, and a lot of people that were ahead of me. People like Brea, people like Tat Samurai Black. Probably saying that wrong. Yeah, it was like all the people who were kind of had just gotten to the game and had already had experience with games with these types of mechanics. I feel like those were the trailblazers, and it was more or less just kind of being motivated by them and trying to chase after them.
Which honestly is like kind of what I wish would happen now, but you don't seem to hear like much of that anymore. Like people aspiring to be like the players they watch, like you don't hear much of that anymore. Like I
mean, there's definitely people that are like, it's just you do see it, but yeah, I agree. It's few and far between.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What were your favorite DMC videos back in the day? This is all part of the same question.
Yep. So, jeez, I'm trying to remember. I don't remember what it was called, but like Brea made one. It was one that used the Dragon Force song "Through the Fire and Flames." I can't remember what the heck she called it. But that one was like really groundbreaking. That one was awesome. Really, all the combo videos, like I actually still have them saved on a downloadable hard drive.
Oh shit, really?
Because it's so ghetto. Like it was back in the day, like YouTube was so ghetto and so in its infancy that we would upload all of our videos and then we would post the link to the forum and be like, guys, here's my new combo video. Like, check it out. Like, you wouldn't just go to a YouTube and stream it. You would have to download it and then watch it.
Right.
So like a lot of those videos back in the day, like I still have them and like I would watch them. It was super motivating. So yeah, Brea's Through the Fire and the Flames one. Even Prince of Devil, like Prince of Devil was really the one that lit the spark. Because like I had done and played around with AMVs, like doing AMVs for like Dragon Ball and Naruto and stuff like that for like anime. Yeah. But like to do something like that with like my own stuff that I would actually create with my own two hands and for a game that I was so passionate about, like that was really what was the big driver and motivator for me.
Yeah, that's fucking sick. Also, like, I wonder if there's like any of those videos that you have that aren't available anymore on YouTube.
Oh, yeah, actually it'd be interesting to check. Because I think I got about like a dozen of them at least, maybe even more.
I would check with, obviously, the people that you know, like Tatsu or whatever, but also check with DK, because I know he, like, was a bit of a student and has, like, a big knowledge on, like, all of the projects and stuff. Like, there might be some stuff in there that isn't available anymore. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, just be interesting to see.
Dr. Shy Guy asks, when's Marvel?
Ha!
You know, funny story.
I got a better one.
Go on.
No, I'm gonna say I'll see your when's Marvel and I'll raise you. When's Injustice?
Oh, Injustice. Never. I remember when I was at Capcom UK back in February. Like I think it was like before we went live. We were just sitting, just fucking around, and someone said something, and then the Street Writer turns around and goes. Someone said like, "When's Marvel?" and I think the Street Writer said something like, "Don't let Dr. Shy Guy hear that," and I was just sort of like, I heard it, and I was just like, I just fucking hear that. Like, what the fuck? Doc's reputation for saying when's Marvel is, it's reached headquarters. This is craziness, Doc. You see what you're doing?
That is really cool. And to his credit, like, it's actually amazing how. You know what the Street Writer has done being the voice of this community, because I remember like in one of the actual official Capcom streams, like he was asking Itsuno and I forget, is it Matthew, the guy who's always with him?
Matt Walker.
I think it's Matthew. Yes, yeah. Matt Walker. Yeah, he asked them what happened to reversals and if there was any plans to put them back into the game, and I was like, bravo, man! Like, thank you for being awesome. Like, that was fucking amazing. Like, way to have your own communities back.
And like he pays attention too. Like when I was down there, he asked me about running the Millz and how it was going. Like I didn't expect any questions like that. He pays attention, and because he's a player, he's a fighting game player first. He understands the importance of mechanics and stuff.
That's awesome.
Like although he doesn't understand the DMC mechanics to the full extent, he understands the importance of them, and because he's like a player first, he like. Basically gives no shits, and that's why he asked about the whole reversals thing. Like he will ask about that. Like he's a good man to have, like to be like a liaison between the dev team in
For
Osaka
sure.
or whatever, and here, but obviously, you end up only getting the PR answers anyway, so it doesn't fucking matter. But the point is that he does ask, and it's fucking sick.
The fact that he's advocating in the first place when no one else is, right?
Yeah,
having that, having someone like that in our corner, like couldn't ask for anything more.
Yeah, and plus he's just a fucking sound guy. Bought us a McDonald's.
I'd love to meet him.
Yeah.
Oh, you serious? Wow, I'd love to meet him, man. Absolutely.
He took us to like a Japanese restaurant the day after. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to mention any of this, but fuck it. Street Rater's sound. He Street Rater's fucking sound. But he took us to a Japanese restaurant, and he was like, we're looking through all this stuff, and I was like, I'm gonna be adventurous and get the katsu curry, and I was like, I'll get the large. And he's like, trust me, get the small. The Japanese person brings out the small, and I swear to God, it was fucking ridiculous. It filled me up, and I'm thinking to myself, that's a small. What the fuck? I know this is completely off topic, but that's a small.
No.
What the fuck would a large have been like? But yeah, he paid for it all, and he was just fucking sound as fuck about it. It was great.
Damn.
It was a great experience.
Yeah.
No one better ever be mean to him. Call him out for anything, or I'm gonna whoop your ass. Okay, I don't care. Okay, the guy's fucking hero.
1,000%, man, dude. I'll help you.
And also, he's just fucking sound as fuck. And the other guy that was there, the sort of tech guy, it was just funny. It was a good experience. 100% would want to see. Because DMC has no official community manager.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's Street Fighter first. 100% would like to see him as the face of the community and not Matt Walker, because Matt Walker is a nice guy or whatever, but I don't get the sense that he is a big player type. You can tell he's not a player, whereas Street Fighter knows his shit about games. He plays them.
Yes.
You can tell the difference between someone who only makes games and someone who plays them. And I would much rather have the face be someone who plays rather than someone who says. Oh, it just comes right off the tongue. You see that shit?
Yeah. When's your rapping career taking off?
Well, it already failed, unfortunately. But that's a whole different story.
That's a story for another time, man. But I understand what you're saying. It's Matt, from the streams that I saw, he's more interested in the game as a whole. He's very much like a bird's eye view in terms of the whole project.
Yeah.
As opposed to Matt Walker, he appreciates the details, man. He appreciates the nitty gritty details and those little small mechanics, man. They're small and they're buried in there, man. They're under the surface of the water, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Gotta go digging.
Okay, next question. Neo. I don't know if you know Neo, but he's do you know who Neo is?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so he's
I apologize if I should.
Nah, it's not someone that you should. It's just someone who I don't know anyone who enjoys DMC3 and the history of DMC3 and how DMC3 plays. This guy is an enigma on the DMC, everything to do with DMC3, you guys. So his question is there was a great improvement in ideas and execution going from Archangels of War to Chronicles of Dante. Bracket, fantastic showcase of precise timing and positioning in DMC3. Can you talk about what it was like to evolve between them?
I saw that question, and so I've given it a little bit of thought. So Ed Neo, if I don't think we've ever had the opportunity to meet, but I feel you and I could have an amazing conversation over a beer sometime, man. So if that ever comes up, or if we ever have the chance to chat over Discord, I feel that would be an amazing conversation, because it sounds like our passion for DMC3 is very much aligned. In terms of the improvement, I mean, God, there was so much. So it's really hard to quantify. I mean, in terms of my overall precision, my timing. I went from Archangels of War was very much I was only beginning to scratch the surface of combos. That was really my first time actually doing dedicated combos. So actually memorizing a sequence and being able to execute it. It was really challenging at first. I think it probably took me 20 tries to record my first combo, and it was super basic. So being able to essentially have a sequence of moves in front of you and being able to be like, okay, like I think this is how it's going to work, and then being able to actually create it within the game. That just having that level of comfort and having the skill to do that, I think is something that came with time. It would be interesting to actually see going back, because I don't even remember how much time passed between Archangels of War and Chronicles of Dante. I don't know if it was a year. I don't know if it was 6 months. My guess would be 6 months to a year. So there was a lot of practice. One of the biggest improvements from a technical standpoint would be sword hangers. So that was something, I guess, I don't know if I was the one that originally discovered it. To my knowledge, no one else really pieced it together the same way I did. But basically, for those who don't know, it's when you launch an enemy or you're juggling an enemy, and then you use one of Virgil's summoned swords to essentially maintain the enemy's height and lock their height into a certain spot while you are doing something else. So for example, if you like launch an enemy, you can use Beowulf to essentially dive kick right through them, and then you use a summoned sword to keep them in the air and stopping them from hitting the ground. So little things like that. Like people had already started to experiment and do similar things with the Devil Trigger. Like people are, you pop up an enemy, and then as you're doing your air combo. As you get closer to the ground, you land, you Devil Trigger, which has that same pop-up effect. But no one was really doing that with Virgil. So that was definitely one of the big things. Because I noted, one of the big themes of my second combo video, Chronicles of Dante, is using those pop-ups, whether with Dante as using his Devil Trigger or using the sword hanger with Virgil's summoned swords. So that was it. And yeah, I learned, like, obviously with the passage of time, I had learned a lot more about the game. I think by the time I finished Chronicles of Dante, I had already done all the SS ranks. So it was like the point of the level of mastery was so much higher than it was in comparison to Chronicles. If you compare it in terms of like a swimming analogy, man, Chronicles of Dante was me like flopping in the water, and I had no idea how to swim. And Chronicles of Dante was like, it's, I don't want to say Olympic style swimming, but it was like, we're an expert swimmer. We know what to do.
You said Chronicles twice. You meant Archangels was you flopping in the water?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Archangel. Yeah, sorry, Archangels of War. Although I do have to admit, that fucking name, it still gives me chills, man.
You like that shit?
A fucking fantastic name. Even Chronicles of Dante, man. I guess I was obsessed with Chronicles of Riddick at the time. I don't know why. And I was like, yo, Chronicles of Dante, this is fucking sick.
So basically, like, Neo's got terrible internet, so he can't join Twitch or whatever for whatever reason, but I can see what he says. I've got like a separate little chat. We basically stuff him in a box and he can type his own little responses there. But he was like, yes, I was waiting for sword hangers to be mentioned. He's like getting super excited. There is a second.
That's awesome, man.
There's a second part of his question though, and it's how do you look back on the 06 to 09? Did you answer that part? How do you look back in the 06 to the 09 years of the game?
I mean,
I don't know if you, because I know that you looked at that question before. I didn't know if you bunched that as one answer. If you,
I only saw the first part of his question on Twitch, or on Twitter, and I was like, fuck, that's a good question. I have to think about this. But in terms of thinking back on that point of time, so I look back on it very fondly, but at the same time, like, I also cringe when I look back on it because, fuck, dude, I was so young and I was so immature. Like, I was such a pompous asshole on that forum. Like, there was no humbleness. Like, right from the get-go, I had this like mentality and this air of superiority. I remember, like, I would literally walk into those forums and I'd be like, I'm the best motherfucking player here. Like, no doubt in my mind. And like, just looking back, and I was like, God damn it, like, I was such a jerk. So looking back on that, but like, other than that, man, dude, it's some of the best years of my life, man. It was an amazing point of growth. It changed the trajectory of video games that I played throughout the rest of my life, right? Like, I used to play like all different types of games. Like, if you look back when I was a kid, playing like games on the Super Nintendo, on like the PlayStation, playing games on like the N64, even OG Xbox. all the like I used to play all different types of games, and then like when I learned how to play Devil May Cry, I had never played a game and dedicated so much time and energy to a single game. But like it wasn't like there was so much to do, but like there was so much to do and learn from a technical standpoint, and I just had never played a game that complex before. For me, it was like I used to play games like Diablo. I used to play like RPGs, where the technical skill level like isn't very high. The skill ceiling's not high, but there's tons of shit to do because you have to like grind all your levels. So it's like you play the game long enough, you'll eventually reach the highest level, and like you reach the top. Whereas like with Devil May Cry and games like that, where there's a high skill ceiling, I never really had an appreciation for those games until Devil May Cry. And what was really cool is when I transitioned from Devil May Cry into fighting games, because Devil May Cry showed me what was possible in games, like because I never knew mechanics like frame cancels or special cancels and things like that existed. So learning those mechanics and then taking a fresh look at fighting games with like that new knowledge and coming in with a fresh perspective was mind-blowing. Like you go back to the original Street Fighter 2, and like I had played Street Fighter 2, like I played a shit ton of it when I was a kid. Like I had Super Street Fighter on the Super Nintendo, and I played the shit out of it. But then you go back and you're like, oh my god, this game has like you can cancel a move into like a Hadouken. Like how is that a thing? Like what the fuck? Like it just completely changed my perspective and the way I thought I looked at games. And so yeah, I have a lot to thank for Devil May Cry and the community as a whole. And like yeah, I don't know. So I look at it incredibly fondly, and it was definitely like it was a paradigm shift in terms of it basically helped me discover what games I liked the most.
Yeah, that's fucking sweet. It's really fucking cool to hear about this shit. Also, a shout out to Devil Never Cried for the raid. Took us up to 43 viewers, which is pretty fucking sweet.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah,
that's freaking awesome, man. Thank you.
Okay, favorite TV Lord Overcry asks 2 questions. Favorite movie? What's your favorite movie? Your favorite flick?
Oh god. So I don't know if this is a cop-out answer, but I hate questions where they're like, tell me your number one favorite anything, right? I hate questions like that. So I normally have like a top 5, top 10 and all that. So I'll give you my top 3. My top 3 favorite are Aliens, the sequel, James Cameron's sequel to Alien, Raiders of the Lost Ark, and Ghostbusters, the OG Ghostbusters.
Raiders of the Lost Ark, yeah. Ghostbusters, I feel like Ghostbusters 2 is a little better for me, but...
Really?
Yeah,
interesting.
Yeah. But Ghostbusters 1 and 2 is like... They're both like really good, and Ghostbusters 2 is like one of the only fucking sequels to be like as good, or for me a little better than the original, but I can understand. Like,
interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's something about like, dude, I can literally go back and rewatch those movies, and I'll just never get bored of them.
Yeah.
Like, there's ones that are very, very close to that top of the list. Like Terminator 2 is like just outside of that. Like there's so many movies. Like I was very fortunate that I grew up watching those movies. Like my parents didn't give a fuck. They're like, this movie's rated R. Yeah, you can watch it. No big deal. So I was watching. I think I watched Alien. I think when I was like 4 or 5, because my older sister wanted to watch Aliens. Well, we both did, and my parents are like, "Well, this is the sequel. You have to watch the original." And it's like, I don't know if that was the best idea, because man, Alien was fucking scary as fuck, man. Like. I like even Predator, like the OG Predator, man. Like I grew up in the 80s. Well, I was a kid in the 80s. I grew up in the 90s, but man, like 80s and early 90s action movies are my fucking jam, man. And I absolutely love them, and I'll never get sick of them. But Aliens, like if I had to give you a top number 1, it has to be Aliens.
Aliens. Yeah.
I've no joke probably seen that movie at least 100 or 200 times.
God
like
damn.
It got to the point where I couldn't even watch the movie anymore because I legit have every line memorized.
Wow, that's how you know that you've fucking seen a film too many times, when you can rehearse it in your head.
Man.
You can go to your bed at night and watch it in your fucking head. You've seen it that many times.
Yeah, like Oh, it must be, man. It must be because, and like, I remember, like, I hadn't seen it in years because, like, again, like, there was no point in watching it. I knew the lines, like, I know what happens. Like, I have the scene, like, I can see the scenes of the goddamn movie in my head. But I was watching it, like, just for shit. So a friend of mine had never seen it, and so we were watching it. There was like three of us. It was like after a drinking night, so we're all hungover as fuck, and we went out, got takeout. We were just sitting in my basement watching Aliens, and I just start hammering out the lines too. Right, and I'm just hammering them out, but like, it's not just like, I wouldn't just say the line. I would like say the line exactly as the person said it, but I would say it like just before, so that you knew that I got every single line right. Like I got every single word right. And like my buddy just looks at me and he's like, Derek, like, I love you, man, but shut the fuck up.
I mean, I feel like we've all been in both positions at one point in our life. We've both been the Derek and the Derek's friend at one fucking point in our lives. He also asks, what are your favourite DMC 1 to 4 cutscenes? Like, so if you had to pick a cutscene from DMC 1 to 4?
So, yeah, I don't really know the cutscenes for DMC 1, 2, and 4 that well, unfortunately. So if we're talking about 3, man, there's some good ones, man. Like, more or less anything with Virgil in it is pretty fucking cool, man. Like, when he sees Beowulf, and yeah, like, granted, Beowulf's blind, but, like, you had just finished fighting him as Dante, and, like, he, you know, it was a challenging fight, and then all of a sudden he goes and tries to take a swipe at Virgil, and Virgil, like, does this backflip, and he, like, slices his head into, like, 7 or 8 different, different pieces, like, that was fucking sick. And then, you know, he pulls out, he reaches out, and like Beowulf, like, spear comes over, and then the gauntlets come onto him and everything, and he like uppercuts Beowulf's body and then cuts it in half. Like, that's sick. Cinematic. Yeah. That cinematic is fucking sick.
It also like goes a long way to establishing Virgil as a rival because he takes your shit from you.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and they did. I've seen a video essay on YouTube. I've never watched it, but they basically are using Virgil as an example of how to build like the perfect antagonist and like how to build, like tension with the boss character. You're like, holy shit, like, dude, this guy is like, he's the real fucking deal, man. He's no fucking joke, right? Yeah. And it's really cool too because at the beginning of the game, Dante starts off so far below him, right? But by the end of the game, you're on par with him. Like, you're able to go toe to toe with him. And that's something I don't think that they've ever been able to really do in another game. Like in Devil May Cry 4, like, Nero is basically a joke until he gets Yamato, and then he's basically OP as fuck. Or he was kind of OP already from the beginning.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
And Dante doesn't give a fuck in DMC4. Like, he's just going around and he's like, nothing here, like, everything here is a joke.
Yeah.
Right? It's not a big deal. And then, like, in DMC5, it's kind of the same thing. Like, Nero is having to go through that journey, right? He's having to he's starting at the very beginning, literally, like, he's armless, and he has to literally go. But at the same time, like, Dante's kind of like, I'm too tired to, like, I'm just tired and I don't want to be here. And that's kind of like the vibe you get from Dante in that game, which really sucks because, like, I hate the whole thing that they have with Dante being a side character in his own game.
Yeah.
Right? But in any case, like, I digress. Cool cinematics. I'm trying to think of another one. Like, dude, the opening cinematic, I think, is pretty fucking cool, too, of Devil May Cry 3, where it's like they show the two fighting and they're like, oh, you know, the Sons of Sparta were fighting, but only one was left standing. And then it cuts to Dante in his shop. And, like, he gets attacked by the demons, like, while he's eating pizza. And then he goes over and, like, turns on the music and he's doing all kinds of crazy shit. And you're just like, what the shit is this game? Right? Like, there's some... Or when he... right after Mission 7, I think it's the intro... The opening cinematic of Mission 8, right after he turns Devil Trigger, where he's running down Temenegru, and he's like all buffed up because he just Devil Triggered for the first time, and he's just doing all kinds of crazy shit. Like, yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah.
Yes, when he falls down the Tower of Ultratrax. Yes.
DMC3 is, like, honestly, it's the closest DMC to perfection as a whole. Like, everything it did was fucking fantastic.
story mechanics. Like we were talking about it actually on one of my streams, and like at the time, you know, an action game like that, to my knowledge, I could be wrong, but to my knowledge, an action game did not have on-the-fly weapon switching, and that was fucking groundbreaking.
Yeah.
To have 4 weapons and you can actively switch between the two, like just insane.
It's great. Yeah.
Actually, yeah, shout out to John Chin. I saw you've been in the chat all stream, brother, and I appreciate the support and hanging out, man. But yeah, 1000% ladies gung fu cutscene. I think she's got a couple of them, like the little scuffle that she has with Dante. I think in mission 15 or maybe it's like 11 or something. I think it's 11. That was really cool. And the one, I think it's either the intro to number 9 or the end of number 8 after Leviathan dies.
Fucking yeah, like there's so many from DMC3
so
you
cool.
can fucking pick. Yeah.
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 Absolutely.
And then you add Style Switcher and all that shit on top of it, and you've got yourself a fucking good time.
Dude, I remember when I first heard about the Style Switch mod for DMC3, and I'm like, whatever, like DMC3 is good as is. Or like, you know, it's like you don't need weapon switching, like 5's too many weapons, or like, you know, even if you have like 3 and 3 or 4 and 4. But man, like I've been working with the style on the weapon switcher a lot with DMC3, and I don't know, man. I've actually discovered some really cool stuff, and like I've been playing around with weapon orders for having 4 and 5 weapons, and I might have some pretty cool stuff in the works, man. I think I'm onto some really cool shit. There might be some really exciting freestyle stuff coming in the very near future. As soon as I stop being a scrub.
Good shit. Honestly, like taking out all of the weapons, not so much the guns, because I'm not as proficient with the guns besides pistol and shotgun, but like taking out, you know, Rebellion, Beowulf, what is there, Cerberus, Sagnian, Ridron, Navan, and seeing what you can come up with, and then doing something that's actually proficient is fucking sweet. I love it.
I'm really excited, man. Like I've been messing around with 3 and 4 weapon orders, and I've been messing around with the orders themselves too. Like thankfully the weapon switcher, you can actually customize the order.
Yeah.
So I've been kind of using I've been messing around with like almost like a DMC4 style where you have Rebellion and then Beowulf, or like your gauntlet style move, and then like what's your third weapon, or if you're gonna do like 3 and 4. But I've also been adjusting that as well, man. So, dude, it's like an entire new game.
Yeah.
For me to like discover, man. Like I couldn't be happier. And that's why, like, as much as I'm interested in like playing DMC4 again, like especially now that I've seen what mods can do for 3, I want to see what mods can do for 4 and 5. It's just, again, finding that time, and it's like I'm knee deep in DMC3 right now, so like it's definitely on the back burner, but it'll come for sure.
I would honestly recommend everyone at least get proficient at 3, 4 and 5, like 4 and 5, well 5 modded and then 4 whatever, like, because honestly they all bring something unique, and they all give something new, and like learning them all is rewarding in their own way. So 100%. But yeah, 3 modded is fucking sick. I love it.
It's so good, man.
Okay, last question is from Valley, or Valterax as he's called on Twitch. He jokingly asks, what happens when the lights go down?
Ha! I know that's a shout out to Camelot's song When the Lights Go Down. Yeah. Oh, dude, that's when the combos start, man. That's when the fucking magic happens.
But his actual question is, what was your favourite moment in the history of the DMC community since you've been in it for a long time?
Oh, dude, that's a really good question. I think it's pretty easy to answer, though. I think, dude, participating in the 3rd charity stream, man, like that to me was amazing, because that was when it was really my first chance to really chat with a number of you for the first time. It was amazing seeing everyone come together and bringing their own personal stuff. Like, we saw all kinds of shit, man. Like, we saw like, what was it? It's Nier Automata speedruns. We saw combo compilations. We saw Bloody Palace runs. We saw Resident Evil speedruns, like for the Resident Evil 2 remake. Like, it was amazing, and it was really cool being able to be a part of that. And I remember like chatting with so many people for the first time, And it's amazing when you bring so many like-minded people who have those similar interests, because we've already established, we've been talking about it all stream, where DMC is so niche, right? So like even amongst my group of friends, like my closest group of friends that are like my family, like it's like, yeah, I love you guys to death, but they like, we all have very, very different interests. So being able to like come together with so many people who have the same level of passion for something like this that you do, was pretty fucking cool. That and I have to say, when we all kind of banded together and we were doing donations, and they read out our donations during Cosmic's charity stream, on Games Done Quick, like it was fucking awesome when they read out mine. Like they read out mine like 45 minutes later, so I was like, shit, like I hope they even read it out. And then someone posted the thing about single Credo, and then I saw you in chat or on Twitter, you're like, who the fuck was single Credo? And what was hilarious, because I was like out of the community for so long, I had no idea what that was referencing. So I think there was like a follow-up conversation later, and I was like, and then like they actually told me about it, and like someone actually had the original clip, the original Twitch clip, and they linked it in the stream, and I was like, are you fucking serious? That happened? Like, this is part of the Devil May Cry lore. Holy shit. So yeah, stuff like that, man, like it's just amazing. It's unreal.
It gets deeper, that clip, when you realize, okay, so that was the second charity stream. Basically, Capcom and the charity that I did the first one for, they reached out to me, which I almost fucking missed because it was on a different email, but they reached out to me and was like, okay, can you help us? We want to do something for the Chris Taylor thing. Can you help us set it up? Because you'd done the last one. I was like, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So we done it, but the Capcom USA, it was on their channel, okay? So it was hosted on their...
Yeah, it was official.
Yeah.
It was official.
And fucking, they gave me like a big set of rules, like no mods, no swearing, nothing like that. Okay, like this has to be clean, PG. Fucking Keo walks into the fucking voice chat and just drops the fucking N-bomb like it's nothing.
Know.
And then...
Okay, so at first I didn't even know what the fuck he said. And then I was like, wait a minute. And I replayed it. I'm like, no. No. And then they explained to me. That's why I interrupted you. Keep going, please.
And then, like, fucking Vash's, like, incredible recovery skills to just bring it back like it's nothing.
Next level. Next fucking level, man. I cannot believe that.
Because honestly, like, everyone else in that voice chat went fucking silent.
Everyone else's mouth just fucking hit the floor. And Vash, without even losing his step.
Doesn't even flinch. He's like, that's an N-bomb, I got this. Fuck it. And the funny part is he wasn't even supposed to be in that goddamn chat. Like, he just waltzed in there. He completely ignored the waiting room. Just waltzed right in there.
Serious?
And just asserted dominance in the worst way he could have. But thankfully, it went unnoticed. There was no repercussions. Yeah.
Oh man, see that's the thing. So I love how, like, as time grew on, because like, man, like that's one of the really cool things too, like in hindsight, that's kind of happened, is like, because when I look back at it, you know, during my time, I was just like, you know what, this is a cool game. I'm gonna, like, you know, make some tutorial videos and teach people some shit. Like, I'm gonna studied these strategies, like, because for me, I made a lot of tutorials and like boss videos and stuff, and a lot of the reason that happened is because it was like solving a puzzle. Yeah. You know, it was like if you test enough things and you have enough ideas and you test them, eventually you'll kind of uncover what the patterns are. You'll start to see what those patterns are. And my buddies and I, we used to call that like seeing the code, making like a reference to Neo in the Matrix.
Right.
When he becomes the one and he can see the code, it's like, oh shit, you've learned the pattern, you can see the code, right? So for me, it was like uncovering that aspect and then kind of sharing and showcasing what I learned. But it's really cool to see that, like, here we are, and it's like, you know, 10, 11, 12 years later, you know, it's like, it's almost like that was like the foundation for this like new generation of players that came to it, and they used what we were working on and what we were doing as like building blocks, and they just took it further and it just grew. And it's like the stuff that I did is kind of just like became entrenched in part of the lore. So it's amazing to see like where the community has come. And yeah, I mean, Unfortunately, Capcom's not cooperating. But I'm excited to see what happens next.
100%. And obviously, yeah, like the fourth charity stream, the upcoming one, I want that to be the biggest and the best yet. And obviously, you're gonna have to be there for that. Yeah, you know, it wouldn't be the same without you, brother. And
oh, thanks, man. I'll definitely be there in more capacity because in last time, I think I was only there on like the Friday and the Sunday. But I definitely would love to. I want to be if we're gonna do it over like a weekend or a week, even because you're doing quarantine, like, yo, let's do it, man. Like, let's get in there. And if you need any help organizing, man, hit me up.
Oh, 100%. Because like the first three, the third one not so much, but the first two was like organized pretty much. I don't want to sound like I'm fucking sucking my own nuts here, but it was sort of like me that organized it. And that shit is like a gargantuan fucking undertaking. It is hard. It is like you need to keep track of everything. Time zones are fucking they fuck you up.
And last minute changes and shit too.
Last minute changes. You have to get a host for everyone that's going to cooperate. You have to gag Kyo's mouth so he doesn't drop some N-bombs. You know, it is hard. And I do appreciate people reaching out to help. 100% will need help at some point. I just don't know what with yet, because it's like, first we have to sort out.
It's still early. Yeah, you're in the planning phase.
Yeah, exactly.
I got you.
I need to get numbers and stuff, and a lot of the original crew that done the third one are going to be back, which is good, which is great.
That's great.
And we're going to get Cosmic. He knows some good speedrunning folks like Maxi Lobes and stuff. Hopefully get them involved. You know, nice. People who stream. I think Dr. Shy Guy streams now. We can definitely get him on. If he wants. Obviously, there's no pressure. There's no fucking. There's literally no pressure to come on this. This is just like, if you wanna, you can. If you don't wanna, it's fine. You know, I'll hate you, but don't worry about it so much. But it should be a good time. The third one, honestly, was like fucking great. And like you said, are you here? Yeah, you can hear me. I thought for a second there your webcam had froze. Like you said about the getting into the chat with everyone, like me and my friends that done the first one, we sort of have like the similar feeling, because like when we were organising the first one, like 1 minute we were sitting there and then the next Chaser Tech was in there, Vash was in there, and like this was at a time when like I wasn't really playing the game seriously. We just knew these people because they were big.
Yep.
And they're coming in here and talking to us, and we're like, holy shit, this is fucking unbelievable. We're talking to these guys. It's like, yeah.
It's almost like larger than life, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's almost like meeting. It's always amazing when you have the opportunity to meet people like that you look up to. I totally get it.
Yeah, it's fucking sick. And now we get to do that all over again. Like, these charity streams are a bitch to set up, but they are so fucking worth it. It is so goddamn fun.
The last one was great, man.
Yeah.
And yeah, like, what is it? I see these guys calling from Marvel already. I'd love to see like other games on, like, if we have a casual day, like games like Marvel, or games like even other fighting games like Mortal Kombat or whatever.
I think like we're gonna branch out. Like last one we had DMC and Capcom games and similar games. This time I think we're just gonna go balls to the wall and anyone play whatever the fuck they want. So
fuck yeah, I'm there, man. I'll totally play Doom Eternal. Let's go.
And you'll play Doom Eternal all fucking night. I know you will, because you're crazy. You will just... I'm gonna put you on the last stream. White Lion chess stream. Maybe. Put you on the last slot and just let you go all night, because I know you're into that kind of... You just can just stream all fucking night, so we can make that happen.
Hey, give me enough beers and anything's possible.
Get some Steigl. Get some Steigl.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah. Does anyone else have any last questions for Derek before we wrap this up? Because it has been 3.5 hours. God damn.
Yeah. This is we're machines, brother. We're machines.
Every goddamn time I tell myself, okay, 2 hours max. Okay, you're gonna get this in 2 hours max. Don't take up too much time. 3.5 fucking hours.
Actually, dude, yeah, that's hilarious. Because when you reached out, like I had tuned into a couple of the other ones and kind of just like had it on the background because I had other stuff going on. And I was like, okay, like I'm thinking like maybe like 30 minutes to an hour tops. And then like I pulled up the VODs on YouTube and I'm like, holy shit, like this is actually like you guys are going all out, like balls to the wall, and going like 3.5 hours. So
It's
I'm
just
good. I'm glad.
It's because it just becomes a casual fucking conversation with some, and that's
Yeah.
the way I like it. I don't want it to be the fucking.
best.
Yeah, I don't want it to be fucking Conan O'Brien show fucking
Yeah.
with a
And it's so
pre-rehearsed.
scripted, and
Yeah.
you're there with your fucking cue cards or something.
Yeah,
You know what? Like
exactly.
as soon as I saw it, because I was actually a little bit nervous when you originally asked me, but then like I pulled up the VODs on YouTube, and I'm like, these guys are literally just flying by the seat of their pants. Like, fuck it, let's just go in with an open mind, and we'll shoot shit, and it's gonna be fucking awesome.
Exactly.
And it's been great.
Oh, it's been
So there were.
Sorry, go on.
I was gonna say there is one question from Mick Was Taken asking if Broly is my favorite character. OG Broly from the original design, not so much the super design, is like fucking up there, man. Like as soon as I saw him, before I even saw the movie, I just saw his concept, and I was like, yo, like what an amazing idea. Like he just gets beefed up as hell, and he's just this massive fucking tank that just goes in. Because like that's if you actually watch like my younger, like the videos I made when I was younger, that was my play style, man. I was like just fucking balls to the wall. I was like a heat-seeking missile, and I was like it's like Broly personified. So yeah, he's definitely up there. Like Vegito, like in terms of if we're talking Dragon Ball, it's like Vegito, even classic Super Saiyan Vegeta is like awesome. Broly's number one, absolutely.
I remember I used
Vegito gang.
I used to say your name
Sorry?
wrong. I used to call you Broly. Remember that shit? Oh, it's Broly. Oh, it's Broly2012. What's up, dude? And then like, oh, it's Broly. I'm a fucking idiot. It's because I don't watch Dragon Ball.
I think it depends. Like I don't think either one is right or wrong, whether it's Broly or Brawly. Well, Brawly is always weird because it like makes you think that there's an A in there, but like whatever, man. It's like tomato. They're both fucking right.
Yeah, I watch JoJo, so it balances it out. Yeah, exactly. It's,
There you go.
there you go. What is your favourite biscuit? I saw was a question.
My favorite. So biscuit, if hopefully that by you mean like just cookies, chocolate. You can't go wrong with just basic chocolate chip.
Yeah.
It cooked well. They're asking if 2012 has something to do with my year of birth. So no. So the reason, so 2012, the story behind 2012. So I think I originally made. What's that?
It was the year of birth.
8 years old.
The year of birth
I know,
cracked me
right?
up. Yeah, that was funny.
I'm not doing so bad on this beer for 8 years old. So the 2012 thing, I don't think a lot of people actually know this. It was the year 2012 stuck out for me from grade 8 because that's how old I was when my buddy had my next door neighbor is a good friend of mine, and he's my age. He had a game on Dreamcast called Psychic Force 2012, and it's like a really ghetto-esque. It's just a really like kind of like, well, it's not ghetto. I mean, it kind of is, but it's like this really like janky like 3D fighting arena, and it's kind of like Dragon Ball, where it's like you have two characters flying around in an open space. And it's actually like a really sick game, and I just used to love going over and like playing this game. And I just remember every time I would boot up, we'd be like Psychic Force 2012, and it was just the way 2012 kind of like rolled off the tongue. And so I don't know, it was like I love Broly, and like this year sticks out of my head, so I was like Broly 2012. I've tried to change it since because I was like, man, like Broly 2012. I came up with that when I was like 13. I was so young. I was grade 9. So I've tried to change it, but like I had a poll on Twitter, and people are just like, man, just fucking keep it. I was like, all right, it's easy. Just keep it.
Yeah, I think I voted in that for you to keep it because it just looks right, and I know you were trying to rebrand. Was there any ideas that came up that you want to share when you were trying to rebrand the whole?
I mean, I still really like details, just because of the fact that my nickname is DT. But like I have a million freaking nicknames, man. Like I remember at work, a job I had a couple years back, like no one actually called me by my name. Everyone called me Details, because like I was just a super knowledgeable guy. So if you had a question, they'd be like, oh, ask Details. And they're like, who the fuck is that? It's like, oh, let me go meet you. And then they come over and talk to me and be like, oh, I see why they call you Details. So that was a name that always kind of stuck with me. But like, I don't know, I've had like so many other nicknames. Like So people used to call me, people at my other job when I was working in sales used to call me Drock, like D-Rock, but they put it together and it became Drock. So there was like Drock Top, and then there was like a million variations of that. There was like Drockinator, Crocodile's Rock, like all this shit.
Dracula.
Dracula? Yeah, exactly. So there was like something like that, but nothing, I don't know, nothing seemed right. So I was like, you know what? I'm so indecisive when it comes to choosing names, and people voted. The people have spoken. Broly2012. I was like, you know what? Keep it simple. Let's just keep it.
Give the fans what they want.
That's it.
Well, I guess if there's no other questions, after you was afraid Millz would have to snatch the beard out of your hand. Listen, I'm sorry, okay, there's just a slight delay, and sometimes you can step over the other person. It happens. It's the internet, you know. I don't want to steal Derek's beers, okay? I can only handle a couple nowadays, you know. 2 or 3 beers is enough to put me to sleep, homie.
Oh, dude, like I don't even know, man. Like, it's even since this whole quarantine started, I don't think I've been drunk. So yeah, I don't think I have a tolerance anymore.
Also, I have to play this video before people shout at me, I guess. So
what's the video? Is it the single Credo?
I hope not. Otherwise, goodbye this channel.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we have to... Can you see that on stream? Is that actually showing up?
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah, okay.
We got it.
I should probably...
It looks like someone... Jar Jar Binks fighting some Sith Lords.
Oh, God damn it. I'm going to show off my desktop.
Amazing.
Ugh.
Oh, dude, it's monstrous.
Ugh. I think that was Winston from...
Like, it's like Into the Spider-Verse. When they go check the desktop and it's just a goddamn disaster.
Yeah, I'm just I'm the messiest person, honestly, and like I've got so many wallpapers. I just have a folder with like 2 gigabytes worth of wallpapers, so there's some shit in there even I don't know. That's why it's Overwatch, I guess.
That's amazing.
It just like randomizes every 30 minutes or so, but yeah, whatever. Okay, without further ado, we'll play this stupid fucking video.
Let's do it. So this is definitely Jedi Academy. Alright, so two lightsabers fighting some Sith. Dude, I could literally play this game all day. I actually just bought, they had a Star Wars sale last week because of the whole May the 4th bullshit. Wait, is that it?
That was it. It was Jar Jar Binks going, yeah, and then jumping around fighting.
Okay. It was kind of anticlimactic, but what I was going to say is I played the shit out of Jedi Academy when I was a kid. It's like it's one of the few games I actually still have the original CDs for. Like I can actually go and get them. I actually have the physical CDs, but they had a sale. My new computer doesn't have a CD or DVD drive, which is both awesome and shitty at the same time. But one of the things is like with the Star Wars sale, I was able to pick up like all the Jedi Outcast and the Dark Forces games for like $10.
Right.
So I got both Jedi Academy, Jedi Outcast. So I've already thrown on Jedi Outcast a little bit. I'll probably play that on stream at some point, like on a casual Friday stream or something.
Sweet.
Yeah, Jedi Academy was awesome. But yeah, we've been talking a long time. I need to get some dinner.
Yeah, look.
You got things to do.
I kept you away from your goddamn dinner. That's just, I feel awful now. Nah, I'm joking. Nah, it's been a pleasure to have you on. Like, I've been looking forward to this, and then I've had you in the cards for a while. It's just been waiting for all the uni shit to get out of the way, and then I can bring this podcast back. It's been a damn good time, and it's been a pleasure to have you on. Definitely need to get you on again at some point. Maybe we could have like me and you and someone else, like Cosmic. If you're streaming DMC3, we can shoot the shit about that. We can do some stuff. We can fucking...
Oh, dude, 1,000%. Like I'm always down to either jump in and do commentary for someone's stream, or having you guys on doing commentary while I'm like, being a scrub in DMC3 or Doom would be fucking amazing. So, dude, like, say the word. If we can organize something like that, I'm 1,000% down. And
do you want to advertise your channels real quick, just so people know where to catch you?
Yeah, absolutely. So Twitch is really easy. It's twitch.tv/Broly2012. Unfortunately, Broly2012 was taken on Twitter, but you can catch me at DMC Broly. Is the nickname on Twitter, and if you just search Broly2012 on YouTube, Broly2012 DMC3 on YouTube, you can find my channel.
go and watch him. He's got good shit on his channel. He's entertaining as fuck to watch. Do yourself a favour and go give this guy your time. He deserves it, and you deserve to give yourself your time to him, because he is fucking just one of the most entertaining guys. And I really hope you do that speedrun shit, because I will watch that shit all day, homie. You on a speedrun will be fantastic.
Oh man, between you and Cosmic, man, I don't know how I'm running out of excuses not to, man. Shit.
It's the only reason I got you on here, homie, is so I could put you in a corner and say speedrun the games.
No.
Yeah.
It all comes to fruition. It all becomes clear.
The master. I rip off my mask. It was Cosmic the whole time.
Oh, can you imagine? Oh,
Fuck,
man. Shout out to Cosmic. Yeah, Millz, just a huge thank you. I said it before and I'll say it again, man. Like, definitely meeting you and just being able to connect with you. I'm glad that we've become friends. It's, even though we've never met in person, but if there's ever the opportunity, I will not hesitate. I'd love to, grab a beer with you sometime. So if I'm ever coming to Scotland, man, I'll make sure I hit you up, brother.
You hit me up, homie.
1,000%, man. And likewise for you, if you ever come back to Toronto, man, if you ever make your way back. But no, shout outs to you, man. You take a lot of time and energy out of your own personal time, to do some of this amazing stuff. I don't think the community as we know it would be where it is today without your contributions, man, and especially everything you do for the streams, the charity streams, man. So it's a pleasure to be on here, man. Thank you for having me. And shout outs to the stream as well, especially for all the people that subscribed. Make sure you guys follow and support this guy because he's doing some fucking amazing things for this community, man. Thanks. And shout outs to the chat as well. You guys have been fantastic, just keeping us along. Yeah, thanks everyone. Everyone who stuck around, that's fucking sick, man. Glad. Because, I don't know, he's just a great guy. I love speaking to this guy. He's a fucking beast. The best. Also... Right back after, man. Also, the chat have... Okay, so I've got stupid fucking Twitch rewards where I have to play the theme of Big Chungus. I have to play the Big Chungus theme, so... Do it! It's a good way to end the stream. And I love you guys too. I see you guys saying like thank you and love you, Broly, man. Right back at you, man. Like I love you guys. Like I wouldn't still be here if it wasn't for the respect and the love that I get from this community, man. So right back at you guys. You guys are awesome. Stay fucking awesome. And likewise, stay awesome, Broly. Fucking sweet. Run of the Millz proves itself yet again to be far too good for how attention it gets. I agree, actually. I should at least get 1 million viewers. Like, it's fucking bullshit. It's fucking bullshit. I'm joking. For the few attention it gets, thanks, homies. And thanks, Broly. It's been a fucking Broly. Look, there I go, calling you fucking Broly. Wow. Broly. It's been a fucking pleasure. Either way you say it, man, with that accent, it's still music to my ears, brother. I hate this accent. I wish I could become an American. It'd be great, homie. I just want to be American. I hate this stupid accent. Oh shit, that's amazing. I love when you guys can turn it on and off, man. I wish I could do an actual accent. Go, try the Scottish accent. Come on, you have to. At least, go on. Alright, hold on. Give me something to say. My name's Derek, and I play DMC. Alright, my name's Derek, and I can't. Wait, what's a very Scottish thing to say? It's like, laddie. My name's Derek, laddie. Alright, laddie. DMC. So say, alright. Alright. Oh, you know what? I can't roll my R's. Ah, that's it. See, it's always the R's that let you down. Alright, mate. I can do a pretty decent Arnold Schwarzenegger impression. That's about the limits of my abilities. That was pretty Australian, actually. It was a good day, mate. Oh, good eye, mate. Okay, yeah, let's wrap it up. You're going, mate. I'm just keeping you here to fucking use your accents and you want your dinner. But thanks, everyone. Thanks, Derek. It's been a pleasure. Thank you. Without further ado, Big Chungus. Here we go. Great. Whoa, fantastic. That's not the right one. Sorry, my bad. Okay. Bye, everyone. Just wave them off, Derek. Just need to do like a long wave for the freeze frame. Sounds good, man. Oh, yeah, I like that. Yeah, that's sick. There we go.